iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
HIV is not a crime, or it shouldn't be.
It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org. Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences Incorporated.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. WRAL weather alert day for a cold rain for the rest of the afternoon. Temperatures only in the mid to upper 30s for the rest of the day. Overnight tonight, mid 30s with a chance of a shower and more rain in the forecast for tomorrow for the high of 43.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 141 points at 44,611.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim this afternoon. Graham Hill producing. Let's just jump right into this thing. UNC basketball. Barf. That was gross last night. That's how you follow up your Saturday performance against Pitt? That's how you follow it up? Were you feeling too good about yourself after a 1-point win at home against Pitt that you go on the road to Clemson and get stomped by 20? You were losing by as much as 28 in the game. My words, not theirs. They got bullied last night. Again, not my words, their words. We heard Hubert Davis, Seth Trumbull. We'll hear audio from them coming up. But that's what they said last night. They got bullied. There's no fight at all from that team. They were careless with the basketball. Graham, you and I praised them yesterday on the show about how good they took care of the basketball on Saturday against Pitt. I was at that game. I was like, man, they're not turning the ball over. Look at the stats post-game. They only had 6 turnovers. They had 6 in the first half yesterday, 13 overall. And careless turnovers. Saw Elliot Cadeau throw the ball, like, not looking to I don't know who.
Dabo Swinney, who was sitting up in the crowd. That's who he was throwing it to.
That's probably who he was trying to throw it to. Wasn't just him. Saw careless turnovers by a ton of people. Ian Jackson, who's fighting through it right now as a freshman, had a bad sequence yesterday where he got beat on a backdoor cut, Drake Powell comes and actually blocks a shot to save him, coming from the weak side, and the loose ball's right there. Kind of tries to dribble up the court, but also forgets the basketball. Clemson gets it and scores. And then the ball deflects him off midcourt, doesn't even try and chase it down, and just rolls out of bounds. Like, dude, where's the fight? Where's the compete? Like, that's your team right now. This isn't early year trying to figure it out. You're 25 games into this thing. You have 7 games left in the regular season. The level of disappointment has to be there. And Hubert Davis talked about his level of disappointment as well as frustration in regards to the lack of team's urgency in that game.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about in the game is, and I think it was a question after the game on Saturday in regards to a sense of urgency. And I said, no, it's a sense of emergency. And that's the type of mindset that you have to have in your preparation, practice, and play every day. And it doesn't guarantee you that things will work out your way, but without it, you have no chance. And so from that standpoint, just sad.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad that you're still having that conversation. You're North Carolina. It's sad that we're still having this conversation. Seth Trumbull, the junior guard, even talked about the level of frustration for him personally after the loss.
We know the stakes. We know the position we're in, and just for us to come out and give that performance.
You know what's at stake? Your shot at the postseason is at stake. Your shot at the postseason is at stake. Yeah, you're going to make the ACC tournament. Cool. You're sitting, what, 7th right now in conference standing? 7th, 8th? That's where you sit. Not, hey, we're trying to fight to be a top 2 or 3 seed with Duke or Clemson. You know what's at stake. And the biggest thing was the lack of fight that team showed. And it really shows, and it's reflected a lot on the defensive end. Tar Heel Illustrated put this stat out last night after the game. UNC's opponents over the last 5 games are shooting 49 of 102 from behind the three-point line. That's 48%. 48%. Did you see at any point yesterday Victor Locken, their big 6'11 guy, 6'10", 6'11 guy, stepping out and shooting, hit 4 3-pointers in the first half. Did whomever guard him try and run him off the three-point line? Did anybody try and close and contest? No, they're clean looks. That's compete. That's effort. That's fight. UNC's 2-5 in their last 7 games. Their losses have been home versus Stanford, at Wake, at Pitt, at Duke, at Clemson. And their only wins were overtime against Boston College and home this past Saturday against Pitt. 1-point game. And when even at Hubert Davis after the Boston College game where they had to go into overtime, they had to get a stop late. I mean, gosh, Boston College looked like a tournament team the way they played against Carolina. And Hubert Davis was questioning the team's motivation defensively. It's like, well, yeah, we actually did find motivation at the end of the game defensively, and that's why we got some stops and forced overtime. I'm sorry? And that's still lingering on this team. They're 7-6 in the ACC. Of those 7 wins, only 1 has come against a team in the top half of the conference standings. That was against SMU. Pitt's right there in the middle. But you have 1 of your 7 wins. You're 7-6 in conference. 1 win against the top half? You know what that makes you? Average. Average. And here's the big thing. Here's the big thing when it comes to UNC basketball right now. The fact that we are still questioning this team's fight and compete this late in the season when there are legit, real things at stake in terms of making the NCAA tournament, making the postseason. The whole reason why you play is to go win a championship. Hubert Davis was asked by Adam Smith inside Carolina about his team's competitiveness and lack of fight.
Do you feel like that this team has lost its fight in some ways? Is that a fair assessment?
I wouldn't say that.
Stop it right there. Pause it right there, Graham. Pause it. It took you 3 seconds to think of an answer, Hubert? No, I wouldn't say that. No, the immediate answer should always be no. I do not question our team's fight. Even if you doubt it for real, you never let it out publicly. The fact that you let it for 3 seconds should never take 3 seconds. I wouldn't say that. There's your answer. There's your problem right there. Graham, let's go ahead and play the rest of that there.
I would not say that. We have to keep getting back up and keep competing. And we got knocked down today, but we got to get back up and we got to move forward and we have to competitively fight.
That's the answer from a guy who has no answers. That is 100% answers from someone who does not have the answers. Hey, you know what? The answers for this problem are on the team right now. That right there, that long pause after he said, I wouldn't classify that. I wouldn't necessarily say that. The long pause where he's thinking about it, he's trying to find the words to say, shows you he doesn't have the answer for this
15 total seconds.
Exactly. This team does not have an answer. This program doesn't have an answer. And even the players recognize it too, including Seth Trimble. Is maybe the loss against a really good team isn't the worst thing, but the fact that Clemson bullied them.
I'm not necessarily mad that we lost this game. I'm honestly really upset with the fact that we got bullied today. I think some guys responded, but it takes 15. It takes all 15 of us, and we just didn't have it.
Kind of hard to hear in a hallway and all that. He said, yeah, not everyone responded the right way to getting bullied. Not everyone did. That's bad. That's bad. That's lack of leadership. That starts top down. From head coach, coaching staff, down to the leaders on your team, your experienced senior guys. That's where that all starts. You don't have it? Sorry. You just don't have it. By the way, I know UNC fans, we're actually going to dive in here more into Carolina. We're actually going to carry this over into the next segment, but I want Carolina fans open up on this one. Phone lines are open for you. 919-8605-FAN, 919-860-5326. Phone lines are open for you. If you want to vent about Carolina, vent about Hubert Davis, whatever it is, phone lines are open for you. 919-860-5-FAN, 919-860-5326. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. As football winds down, college basketball is gearing up. Fans are ready to see which teams will prove they are ready to shine in March and who will be seen in San Antonio. You can get in on all the action from tip-off to the final whistle at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Right now, new ESPN Bet Sportsbook customers can get can bet $10 to get $100 of bonus bets and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the app and sign up with the promo code RADIO100 to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Yes, it's gotten that bad for UNC. Phone lines are open. Carolina fans, feel free to vent. 919-860-5-FAN, 919-860-5326. I'll tell you just how bad it's gotten coming up.
Move your sports day forward.
They felt that they couldn't get there with Marty Natchez and Jack Drury. That's what a trade is. It wasn't going to work with those two guys. But perhaps with Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall, it does work. And maybe that window just got a little bit bigger. Time will tell. time will tell. That is the biggest elephant in the room. This is a new era of Carolina Hurricanes hockey.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. Now, February is the month of love, and we're all guilty of it, right? We wait till something like February happens to love those that maybe we've been neglecting or let them know how much we care. Have you been doing that to your rugs, your floors, piling up with dirt and grime and dander? Well, Zero Res wants to love your rug. Love your rug special right now. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $109 and $100 off air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000.
Get ready. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale is coming to the State Fairgrounds February 14th through the 16th at the Carr Scott Building. It'll be filled to the max with boats ready for immediate delivery featuring Suzuki outboards. Shop center console, runabouts, deck boats, bass boats, pontoons, aluminum boats, and more, all under one roof. Boat Show only savings, discounts up to $12,000, factory rebates, and special financing on site. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, February 14th through the 16th at the Carr Scott Building on the State Fairgrounds, featuring Suzuki outboards, free admission and parking.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Cadeau tried to float a alley-oop to Washington, turned it over, and is now yelling at Washington as they go back to play defense.
That's the sound of Jones Angel, play-by-play voice for the Tar Heel Radio Network. You know things are bad when it's middle part of the first half, and it's the home broadcast is pointing out how after a turnover, after miscommunication on the offensive end, you got one player yelling at another, coming back down the floor to play defense. It's not good. The state of the North Carolina basketball program ain't in a good place. It's falling well short of expectations. And the phone lines are open for fans. 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. Heaster Automotive Group hotline. Let's turn to Joe in Lillington. Joe in Lillington, let's see what you have to say. Hear what you have to say weighing in on UNC basketball.
Oh,
I mean, there's so much to say. Good Lord.
Like, fire away, sir. Just don't cuss.
I mean, it's just standing around on the offense. Everybody that stands around did the exact same thing every game. 4-out, high screen. The action doesn't work. It's just no movement. Then jack up a three, jack up a three, jack up a three. When it works, it works. I get it. But, like, it starts up top. I got Hubert Davis. You always hear he's a great guy in certain things, but he's just not the coach for UNC. And I know the boosters and all the donors that they see that, and like this is it for him. Like he just got to go. I mean, this is not North Carolina basketball. It doesn't even feel right watching anymore. Like I'm excited for the Daytona 500. Now I don't even care about UNC basketball. That's how mad I am right now at this team.
Hey, definitely looking forward to the 500. That's for sure. But you're right. It doesn't feel like North Carolina basketball when you watch it play. I think Joe brings up a really good point. Joe, thank you for the call. Call back in at any time. I know Hubert Davis talked about at the beginning of the year. They want to be the fastest team on the floor in terms of running. They want to be the fastest team from free throw line to free throw line. But when it's a half-court game, they struggle. And there are often times, and it doesn't feel like UNC has adjusted or found answers to other teams, and obviously their lack of size doesn't help them much at all. But teams are switching oftentimes on picks, again, kind of just depending on the game, but nothing ever feels like a scary matchup for another team. Like, if I'm defensively game planning against UNC's offense, like, who am I really, outside of RJ Davis, who am I really gearing up to stop? I mean, last year you had to deal with Baycott in the post. Hey, how do we handle that guy and his rebounding ability? How do we combat that, which opened things up on the floor for everyone else? They don't have that anymore. So it's four guys on the outside. If they do get good dribble penetration, we've seen Venal Lube in the last few games, off bounce passes on the inside, able to clean up. But otherwise, not a whole lot going. The outside shooting just isn't there for North Carolina. Even when they do get clean looks, it's not hitting consistently. So that was Joe in Lillington. Let's go to Chris and Wilson. Chris, what are your thoughts right now on UNC basketball after their beatdown they took yesterday to the hands of Clemson?
Man, it's just horrible, man. I love y'all show, listen to you every day.
Appreciate that.
I mean, as a diehard Carolina fan, this has been a hard season, probably the hardest since Matt Doherty coached. And we got to get rid of Hubert Davis. He can't recruit. He's no good.
Chris, thank you for the call. I will never be one that will actually call for someone's job. I never will say that. That is, I just won't do that. But what Chris just said is what we're seeing a lot of fans, whether they're in our comment section on YouTube, which, by the way, watch on 99.9 The Fine YouTube page. You can watch us right there. Leave thoughts in the comment section of the videos. Certainly do that for sure. But we see it all over the place. So it's not just one or two people saying it. There's a lot of people that feel this way. You mentioned Matt Doherty. The last time, by the way, UNC is in danger of missing the NCAA tournament as an at-large for the second time in 3 years. For the second time in 3 years. The last time that happened was the 02 and 03 seasons under Matt Doherty. His second and third years there, they missed the NCAA tournament completely. So that's the last time this has happened for UNC basketball. Last time before Matt Doherty was in the 70s with Dean Smith, but that was before the field expanded to 64 teams. The NCAA tournament field didn't expand to 64 teams until 1985. So since the field expanded to 64, gosh, it's 68 now. It's only happened once where they missed the NCAA tournament twice over a 3-year stretch. It happened to be back-to-back years in 02-03. That's where this team is right now. Let's go to Hunter in Raleigh. Oh, Hunter dropped? Okay, we don't have Hunter in Raleigh right now. So, again, phone lines are open, 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. Great news, we have Isaiah. All right, let's go to Isaiah on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline. Isaiah, let's hear you weigh in on UNC hoops right now.
I've just got to say, I love Hubert Davis, and I don't like saying people should be fired, but I would give him one more season, and I would say we might have to move off of him. I would give him one more season, see how the GM works, and then I'd say we might have to move off from him. But he did move. He did play big, a little bigger yesterday, like I mentioned yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's just not working.
All right, let me ask you this, Isaiah. If they do bring Hubert Davis back next year, what would be an acceptable outcome for next year in order for him to get another year even after that?
An at-large bid, I would say 4 seed or higher in the NCAA tournament.
Okay. What about tournament results? Does that matter? Like, do you think he can make at least a Sweet 16, at least an Elite
8? Sweet 16 at least. I feel like if he goes and if they're a 4 seed and they get upset in the first or second round, that's not good enough. It's not UNC basketball. I think they're gonna have to move off of him.
Okay, that's fair. You know what? If you're gonna say, hey, give him another year, at least put some standard on there, Isaiah. I do appreciate that, Isaiah. Thank you for the call and the fact that you bring up the Sweet 16. To me, UNC basketball losing in the Sweet 16 should be a down year for UNC, based off the standard that they have set for that program over decades. UNC basketball, again, an average season should be Sweet 16. And that should be like an average year. Like, or hey, you know what? We didn't meet expectations. What? Oh, really? Where'd you finish? We lost in the Sweet 16. That's a North Carolina standard right there. Let's go to Will in Chapel Hill. Will on the East Automotive Group hotline. Will in Chapel Hill.
Hey, so I just, I'm kind of over the season, honestly, and trying to bring some practical thinking to it all. I think at this point we need to just write this season off and hope that everything that happens from here on out guarantees that Hubert's done, because he ain't it. Like, it's not just the recruiting or not being able to get to the finish line on transfer guys, but also just the in-game coaching is just terrible. Like, obvious lack of leadership, like you said. And, but the good news is at UNC, there's very few programs in the country that can genuinely say that if we make the right choice with the next coach, and if the next coach is able to get the right transfers in, we legitimately have a shot at being a top 5 team next year. So it's not like this is something that we're going to have to deal with for years and years, like it would be, if we were in this position for an NFL team or something. So, I guess that's a little silver lining, as long as the athletic department makes the right choice on the next guy.
Well, you bring up a great point there, that the fact that the brand of North Carolina basketball should attract a top-end candidate if there is a change, if at some point a change is made. But Hubert Davis even acknowledged himself that the way that UNC basketball has operated needs to change. And Graham, you brought up a great point on Next Up earlier today, which you can hear with Graham producing Paul Eichander from 9 to 10 right here on 99.9 The Fan, of if they do bring in a GM, who will want to come here if Hubert Davis is brought back?
Yeah, all of a sudden, in my 26 years of living in the state of North Carolina's a basketball program does not look attractive to be a part of right now as far as bringing somebody in to run this program. They're going to have to get a big name person to get an endorsement, such as one of your most prized alum, Michael Jordan. You're going to have a major stamp of approval if you want to knock it out of the park with hiring somebody to oversee this basketball program, because right now it's just not attractive.
Let's go to Thompson and Raleigh. We got a few more callers left here on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline. Let's go to Thompson and Raleigh weighing in on UNC basketball.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. I don't think they should. I don't want to call for anybody's job. I don't like the job he's done this year, but I'm not one to say who should get fired and who shouldn't get fired. But he's definitely missed on recruits the past couple of years, and it shows. You've got our neighbor, 8 miles down the road. Mm-hmm. They seem to always get at least a one and done. But at the same time, as Carolina's done better in the tournament probably in the last 15 years than Duke has, correct?
I have to go back and look specifically at that, but I mean,
but you know what I'm saying is, I don't know the exact stats on it, but I don't like some of his player when he inserts players. Like, I think Cadeau personally should come off the bench. He's a turnover machine. He can't shoot, so I don't really see why he starts. But I think he needs one more year, and I think he can right the ship with the general manager. Let you guys go.
All right, Thompson, thank you for the call. Really do appreciate you tuning in. Real quick, let's go to we had 2 more calls left here. Let's go to Hugh in Apex. Hugh, you're on.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Doing all right, man.
I believe everybody needs to get off of Hubert Davis for just a minute.
All right, go on.
College basketball, college sports in general have changed so much that it's not fair to judge him in a vacuum like that. And all these people that think they know he can't coach or that he's making the wrong calls or whatever, I don't see them coaching basketball for any college. There's a lot to running the program, and in today's world of transfers and NIL and everything else, they do need a support staff behind him so he's not doing everything, so he can focus on the basketball team and he can focus more on that operation. He can recruit just a little bit more. And if they want to give him that support staff, they need to give him more than a year, right? That's going to take a little while for a GM to get in, get settled, and whoever else they would hire for a support staff. I'm not even sure what all those roles are, but if they hire more into those roles and invest in the support staff like the football team did, then I think that Hubert Davis will be set up more for success. And I'll leave it at that. But if they're going to give him all that, they need to give him more than just a year.
All right.
Like,
go ahead, Hugh. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if you're going to cut ties with him, you need to cut ties with him now. That way, the new coach, the new GM, they get all on the same page at one time. If you're not going to do that and you're going to retain Hubert Davis, then you got to give him at least a couple of years to make that work, because recruiting takes time.
Well, I will say this about Hugh. You bring up the general manager, and thank you for the call. I know we got one more. I'm sorry we're pressed up against it. But you bring up a good point, Hugh, about a general manager and the support staff. But Hubert Davis acknowledged it on his show, Hubert Davis Live, about a week ago, the fact that they do need to add those pieces. Hubert Davis turned that down a couple of years ago. The women's basketball team's had a GM for a couple of seasons now. So Hubert Davis himself chose to not have that. Now, with the football team, all the resources put into it, we'll see how that works. We'll see how that actually does pan out. That's going to take a little more time. Bigger rosters, bigger staff. There's a lot more that goes into it. Whereas basketball, you got 5 guys on the floor. Hubert Davis did not want that support staff and that structure a couple of years ago. All right, we're pressing up against it, but let's get one final caller in. Let's go to Dean in Rocky Mount. Dean, here on the Houston Automotive Group hotline, talking UNC basketball. Dean, what say you about UNC hoops?
What a day, what a day, what a day it is. It's a wonderful day, even though it's raining outside. I'm just here to dance on the grave of UNC basketball, even though my team will probably miss the ACC tournament and needs to win 3 games and a bunch of things to go right to even get into the ACC tournament. I'm still here to bring some joy to this festivity. I would like to remind everybody that Kevin Keats has one more ACC championship than Hubert Davis. I hope everyone has a wonderful day and celebrates this wonderful day, even though we're going to lose by 30 tomorrow to Louisville.
Dean and Rocky Mount, thank you for the call. I figured there was going to be one. Graham.
There always is.
I figured there would at least be one. Granted,
I just want to know.
Keats has been there a lot longer than Hubert Davis.
I would just
there's some different conversations with that. We'll have to have it tomorrow for sure.
Now I'm very interested to see what Dean's reaction is going to be next Wednesday during that NC State versus North Carolina game, and what we could qualify as a loser leaves town match.
Hey, we might have loser leaves town match on Wednesday next week. It is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Thanks everyone for calling in. Also, if you can't call in, go to our YouTube page 99.9 The Fan. We have the live stream video of this program going on every single weekday from 3 to 6. You can jump into the comment section for sure, whether it's in the videos that we post or directly in the live chat that's going on right now. Your comments are always welcome for sure. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to put some positivity on this. We have the Dean's List coming up, but also some potential moves the Carolina Hurricanes might make during the 2-week break for the Four Nations. We'll have that coming up.
It's Tim Donnelly with Miller Lending. Now, I'm out of the studio welcoming my newborn baby daughter into the world, but also I'm learning some parenting lessons that can help out all of you. Parents out there, you can back me up on this. You become really efficient when you go from 1 child to 2. And You want to be just as efficient when looking for your mortgage. You don't want to pay 10% more on diapers because you're going to be ordering a lot of them. Just like you don't want to pay a higher rate on your mortgage than you have to because, well, you're making that payment quite a bit as well. So here's what you do. You call Miller Lending. You have them shop for the best rate. 25, 30 different options. They find the best one for you. That's what a broker does. And you don't have to do it yourself, and you don't have to trust your neighbor or your cousin or your roommate that works in mortgages has the best rate for you. So give them a call, 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146.
A new game has landed in North Carolina. Officials are calling this new species of game Cash Pop. So easy to play, it's out of this world. Reports confirm you just pick and match one number to win up to $2,500. With 5 drawings every day, cash landings have been cited across the state. So be on the lookout for Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. The wins are out there. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds chart at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey guys, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and Cupid's arrow is pointing straight to Bailey's. We're here to help and make it easy for you to find the perfect gift for the one you love. Bailey's has something for everyone and every budget. We have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts for under $500, from David Yurman, Apolita, Mickey Moto, Lagos, and more. And if you're looking for something extra special, we also have an amazing selection of diamond jewelry. Shop in-store or online at baileybox.com. Give her a gift that's better than chocolate or roses with the easiest and can't-miss way to make her Valentine's Day extra special with a little black and white striped box from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Located in Raleigh's Village District and Crabtree Valley Mall, also in Cary's Fenton, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. Just a little reminder from me, Marcy Bailey. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Looking for a new vehicle? Wilkinson Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Sanford is one of the only dealerships where you can shop all 4 brands under one roof. Get unbeatable deals on new and pre-owned vehicles. Our expert service department keeps you on the road, and our full-body shop handles any repairs. It's all here at Wilkinson, where quality and convenience come first. Drive with confidence. Drive with Wilkinson Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC on NC 87 South in Sanford, or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
Can your heating and air system handle the winter chill? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Hey man, been to Sharky's lately?
Yeah, man, I was there last night with you.
Oh, yeah. The wings and the burgers are killer. They have so many beers it's hard to choose, you know?
I know. You know, they got trivia on Tuesdays and luck of the draw darts on Sunday, man. I love them both.
Yeah, I love that place, man.
You know what, man? I think Sharky's may be the best bar in the world.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Let's go grab a beer.
Sharky's at the corner of Delta Lake Drive and Durley Road. Open 7 days a week.
Hey, everybody. Paul Eihander with 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. March is almost here, and college basketball is reaching its most exciting stretch of the season. Right now, new customers on FanDuel get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $150 extra bucks to bet on everything from conference clashes to tournament upsets and even who's cutting down the nets. If you've been waiting to join FanDuel, there is no better time. The app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. I know, because I've done it. Visit FanDuel.com/Paul, that's Paul with a capital P, and get in on the college hoops action before March takes over. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Now he's coming the other way, drops it for Rantanen, his shot, he scores! Welcome to Raleigh, Mikko Rantanen! It's 2-1 on Rantanen's first with the Canes.
Could Mikko Rantanen be on the move? It's seriously being talked about by some people in NHL circles. We'll dive into that here in about 10 minutes. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim this afternoon. Graham Hill producing the show. By the way, make sure you subscribe to 99.9 The Fan's YouTube page. We love the community that's been built there. We're over 15,000 subscribers, and we love that you all are part of this community. We love the fact that you can weigh in, can interact with us, whether you are watching the show live on the YouTube live stream or you go into the videos and leave your thoughts and comments. We do Feedback Frenzy. We're going to have one of those at 4:45 today. We read through all the comments, whether it's clips from this show, The Drive, whether it's from Pack Therapy, the podcast, from the Adam Gold Show, Panthers Playbook, Kane's Corner with Adam Gold. There's a lot that goes on the YouTube page, and we love that you are part of that community as well. So make sure you definitely are part of this as well. And also, you can jump in on our live stream if you have someone that you want to throw on the Dean's List to give a shout-out, someone in college sports. Graham, let's ring the bell. Class is in session for the Dean's List. I actually came across this first one, Graham, actually when I was at the UNC basketball game on Saturday. I like to attend games of all the teams. I still need to get to at least one NC State game this year, but I've been to games at Duke and at Carolina to get one at State. I like to attend games to get a vibe of what the fans are, still be able to talk to players and coaches in the locker room and those kinds of things. And actually saw at halftime a young man on the track team at UNC, Ethan Strand, set an NCAA record for the indoor mile at the Boston University Terrier Classic. Ethan Strand ran the third fastest indoor mile of all time. Not just in UNC or just college athletics, of all time. Third fastest indoor mile ever. Strand is now the first college runner to post a sub-350 mile time. He ran in 3:48. That's cooking. Graham, that is cooking. So props to that guy. Third fastest indoor mile ever. Props. That's moving. I was stoked in college. I played lacrosse in college. I was stoked. I ran a mile in 6:15. I was cooking back then. Whew, but that? Would have got lapped. All right, let's go down to the coast. Graham, UNC Wilmington, your Seahawks. They got a double overtime win over the weekend against Drexel, 81-79. Sean Moore of UNC Wilmington in that double overtime win led all scorers with 23 points and led all rebounders with 15. 23 and 15 in a double OT win. One of the top teams in the CAA. UNC Wilmington trying to take down the Towson Tigers from up there in Maryland. So shout out Sean Moore. Sean Moore on the Dean's List, UNC Wilmington. Campbell men's basketball stays hot. They beat North Carolina A&T yesterday, 66-62. 26 points from Colby Dugan. 26 points from Colby Dugan. Led all scores, 26 of 66. It's not his first time on the Dean's List, Graham. Graham, do you have anyone to throw on the Dean's List?
Yes, actually, I'm going to do Boston College transfer Jaden Zachary.
Oh, okay.
Big time performance last night
against
in the
Clemson,
win against
Clemson.
In a win against North Carolina. I'm not trying to beat down Carolina fans, but just a cool story for him being a part of the ACC, transferring to play for the Tigers. He now gets a win against every team in the ACC.
Do you have the soundbite of that?
Yep.
Here's the soundbite of Zachary from Clemson post game talking about that.
I was just telling people at BC I beat every team except Duke and North Carolina. And then in the last 3 days, I beat both of them. So somebody told me it's kind of like Thanos. I got all the rings now, so I'm like, I beat everybody. So.
I mean, not to be actually guy and nerd out here. They're Infinity Stones. They're not rings. This isn't Sonic the Hedgehog, okay? At least get that part right.
I was going to wait to see what your reaction was. That's why I wanted to bring that up so we could go ahead and play that soundbite.
I'm both mad and disappointed. Mad and disappointed. But hey, you know what? That's pretty cool, though. You beat every school in the ACC, including the one you played for. Good on him. A final one here. NC State women's basketball on Sunday. We didn't do a Dean's List yesterday because we had a Monday sound off. UNC women's basketball on Sunday. Number 10 in the country beat number 23 Florida State 97-74. All 5 starters for NC State finished in double-figure scoring. All 5. Zoe Brooks, Sania Rivers, Madison Hayes, Isaiah James, Tilda Trigger, all finished with double-digit points. So shout-outs to them. Shout-outs to them. All 5 starters in double-figure scoring. Get put up 97 against another ranked opponent. By the way, ACC women's basketball, stacked. Stacked.
They're making up for the men's side.
Oh, gosh. They're lapping the men right now. It's not even close. ACC women's basketball is loaded. I think there's 7 teams in the top 25. It's crazy.
Baseball, too. Baseball could be another sport that you can get after for the conference.
ACC baseball has like one of those like deep hardcore followings. You know? It's got a deep, hardcore following that people that really get into ACC baseball.
They currently have 6 teams in the AP Top 25 poll ahead of opening day on Friday.
Yeah, opening day is right around the corner. Feels like it, right? So I grew up, we can go and end the Dean's List. We'll go and sound the bell for the Dean's List one more time here, Graham. I grew up right by the University of Virginia. My parents still live in that area. I grew up about 20 minutes away. Last time I checked, about 2 hours ago, they were at 4 inches of snow. So I think they're calling for 9. Great opening weekend of baseball, let me tell you. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. That's the Dean's List. If you have any nominations for the Dean's List, again, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Really do appreciate it. Graham, I'm seeing this floating around regarding the Carolina Hurricanes. If they can't get a deal done with Mikko Rantanen, the star forward that they traded for from the Colorado Avalanche just a couple of weeks ago, part of a 3-team trade where they get Mikko Rantanen. They also got Taylor Hall from the Chicago Blackhawks. They gave up Jack Drury as well as Martin Necas. A couple picks get moved, so on and so forth. There's talk that if they can't get a deal done by the trade deadline, that Mikko Rantanen is going to get shipped out.
I mean, the irony.
It'd be interesting. Elliot Friedman, who's part of Sportsnet, part of the 32 Questions podcast, was on with Sportsnet talking about the 4 Nations, like the break that's on right now for the 4 Nations tournament that the NHL is putting on. This is like basically the bye week essentially for guys in the NHL, with the exception of those playing in the 4 Nations. That during this break of actual NHL game action, teams are going to be talking.
One thing I was definitely told was that there will be contract negotiations. Like, everybody here is going to have a clear picture by the end of this tournament over, which free agents they're going to be able to keep, if negotiations are going to be in a positive place or not. Like, it's kind of weird, Mike. You don't usually see this, but this is in a lot of ways a kind of hard reset on the business of the league.
So a lot of people viewed this 4 Nations break as almost like the first trade deadline. The real trade deadline is March 6th. But a lot of teams, we saw the Carolina Hurricanes make the first move But then about a week later, we saw JT Miller from the Vancouver Canucks get traded to the New York Rangers. JT Miller, a player that the Carolina Hurricanes were in conversation with about trading for from Vancouver. So this week was kind of viewed as like the first deadline. All right, let's make some moves. Let's figure out what our team can be moving forward. But then it comes to figuring out with your free agents that are on your team. This is where a lot of general managers and front offices around the NHL are going to be talking with players and agents this coming week, like the week we're in right now and next week. All right, can we hammer out a long-term contract? We know what the salary cap is going to be for the next few years. There's a big jump in the salary cap. What are things going to look like in terms of who can we play, who can we keep, who can we retain? Because I think if teams are able to sign pending free agents, so guys that are in the final year of their contract, if they can lock players up long-term, those players aren't going to get traded. But if you can't lock these players up long-term, if you can't come to terms, if you can't find some sort of financial agreement, then they become a trade piece. And I think this is why this week and next week are so vital. This 2-week stretch is so big. And a lot of people are also looking around the league to see what players are also signing deals. Okay, this player, this defenseman on the other team signed a 4-year contract extension worth X amount of dollars. Okay, well, how does that impact us signing our guy? Or how does that impact us trying to plan for free agency this offseason or the trade deadline? And a big piece that Elliot Friedman talked about is a lot of eyes are on the Carolina Hurricanes and what they do with Mikko Rantanen.
If you take a look at that one, there's so much at stake. First of all, can Carolina re-sign him? That's number one. Can Carolina re-sign him? That's number one. That's, I think, the thing we're looking at. If not, what does it mean for the trade deadline? Do they turn around and flip him? And the other thing, too, is if Rantanen does sign in Carolina, it takes him off the board for other teams that might be interested. So how do they change? So I really do believe that the Rantanen one is the biggest domino heading into the deadline. I mean, unless there's something going on that I'm not seeing right now, which is always possible, I don't sense that Mitch Marner's anywhere close to making a decision. So, but I think Rantanen is kind of being put into a situation where he's going to have to make some kind of decision one way or the other. And because of that, there's a lot of things that could happen because of it.
All right, there's a lot that's going to be building off of this Mikko Rantanen decision. Here's what Carolina, the Hurricanes, have going into next year based off their salary cap situation. We know that Brent Burns is in the last year of his contract. He's likely gone. Dmitry Orlov, another defenseman in the last year of his contract, also likely gone. How do you supplement? Okay, well, that's 2 defenseman spots you need to fill. Okay, well, then that's Scott Morrow, the young defenseman we've seen come up and play a few games for Carolina, who's on a rookie contract, and Alexander Nikishin, who's currently playing in Russia, should be here in about a couple months. That's how you fill it. So not spending a lot of money in that regard. Carolina right now is projected to have just over $38 million in cap space going into next year. That's the 5th most in the entire league. So you can break the bank for Mikko Rantanen if you want to keep him, if he decides to stay. You can break the bank for him. If you want to give him $14 million a year, you can easily do that and have a ton of money still left over to spend. Now, you also have to factor in that contract carrying into future years, and you know that some young guys that are currently on your team are going to be due for contract extensions a few years down the line, but you'll let a few years down the line take care of itself a few years down the line. But you can get Mikko Rantanen right now for if he signs the exact same deal that Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers just signed. 8 years, $14 million. Which, by the way, the Carolina Hurricanes are the only team right now that can offer Mikko Rantanen 8 years on a contract. There's a rule in the NHL that free agents, if you do hit free agency, you can sign 8 years maximum length contract with the team that you're currently with. But if you do hit free agency and you want to sign with another team, the max length of that contract is only 7 years. I know a lot of people want to think about what happened with Jake Gensel last year. in terms of they traded for him from Pittsburgh. They thought they can maybe keep him for 8 years after last year, sign him to a long-term contract extension. It just didn't work out. Carolina was not in the cap situation that they are in right now. This past offseason, they really didn't have the money. They're trying to sign Jake Gensel to a contract extension while still trying to figure out an extension for Seth Jarvis and still trying to figure out, okay, well, what are we going to do with Martin Necas, who's a restricted free agent, Jack Drury? There's a lot of other moving pieces. Things were a lot tighter. This offseason coming up, not so much. The team and Mikko Rantanen have to decide if things fit. Now, about the possibility of him getting traded, Graham, at the trade deadline, that'd be wild. That would be pretty crazy.
It just now makes me think about when you were watching the ESPN broadcast of the Carolina Hurricanes Minnesota Wild game from last week, and they put that still image of Eric Tulsky in his box with his laptop open. Now I'm like, oh, man. Who was he sending emails to during that game?
Oh, you never know. I mean, that guy clearly is in on all deals.
There's a reason why he's called the mad scientist, correct?
I'd say so. I do not see the Carolina Hurricanes trading Mikko Rantanen at the trade deadline, the guy you just got. Unless he just flat out tells you, guys, I don't want to be here. I don't. If he flat tells you that, okay, explore it. But I don't feel that's going to happen. I just don't. There's a reason why Carolina made the move for this guy. Hey, you know what? But hey, you know what? If he says Mikko Rantanen, I was not expecting to leave Colorado. I was not expecting to leave there. I was no idea that they would possibly trade me. Didn't know that was the case. You know what you tell Mikko? Well, it's because we wanted you more. We were the ones that wanted you most. That's why you're here. Because we want you here. We think you can be the star of this team, the difference maker of this franchise, someone that we can have championships with for years. We want you here. That's why we traded for you. They didn't want you. Otherwise, why are you here? We want you. You can spin that however you want, Graham.
And also, there's the personal relationship, too, I feel. If you were to do this, it just kind of feels like maybe you screwed over Marty Necas a little bit.
I don't know if you did that.
But, I mean, as far as right now, but I'm just saying, like, if this is what you did in order to get Mikko traded again at the deadline, it just shows, all right, well, maybe that relationship was deteriorating that much that you just kind of used him as a fill-in trade.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think Necas was going to get moved at some point. I really do. If Carolina wanted to make a big move, Martin Necas was going to have to be part of it because a lot of teams see his skill level and all that. But it would be kind of wild, though. You trade Martin Necas and the guy that you traded for, like you said,
correct,
all of a sudden is also gone.
Yeah. That wrong word that you used there, but that's exactly what I was trying to get to.
I don't know what you're going to get in return. What you're going to get. If you're going to trade Mikko Rantanen, you're going to need multiple players that can play for your team right now. And I mean multiple players that can play for your team right now. Hence the reason why Colorado, when they gave him up, it's like, well, okay, we need a top 6 forward in Martin Necas, and we're also going to need a player that can play right now in Jack Drury, plus picks. So if Carolina is moving Mikko Rantanen, I need a star top 6 player and another guy that can play. At minimum. I don't see it happening. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. We talked about Mikko Rantanen and what his impact is going to be on the future of the Carolina Hurricanes. The future of the Carolina Panthers falls on the decision regarding one player, and a decision that will take place 1 year from now. We'll tell you who that player is in 4 minutes.
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Johnson trying to step back for a 3. Bring it up. Left side. Boy, that was cold-blooded.
The deep looks from downtown.
Damask from the right block. Gives to Hawkins. Straight on. Triple. Good. They left him open, and he makes him pay.
The Get That Out of Here's.
Bonner to the basket. Rejected by Renew, who saw that one coming.
Your exclusive home for the Final Four. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle sports leader.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Best idea for both of you this Valentine's Day? Adam and Eve. Everybody wins when you walk in with a gift from your local Adam and Eve store. Maybe you've been to one of our 6 Triangle locations. Maybe this is the reason you've been waiting for. Adam and Eve stores are filled with romantic, intimate gifts, from playful to passionate and everything in between. They'll even gift wrap it for you. Shop in store today and get a free gift with a qualifying purchase at your local Adam and Eve, where pleasure begins and passion never ends.
Time to get ready for golf season, and Global Golf is ready for you. Global Golf is home to Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs and can help every part of your game, from lessons, club fittings, and repairs. Don't forget, we take trade-ins. Bring in your current clubs and get store credit towards your new clubs. You're invited to Global Golf, open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
You know what you deserve? The joy of a remote start. Sound Station and Security can install remote start systems in your car. Start your car from inside your house while you eat breakfast, and it's all toasty warm by the time you get inside. Or on those hot summer days that are sure to come, start your car and get the air conditioning running so you don't sweat. A remote start system is an awesome treat, and you can get it at Sound Station and Security with 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Pretty miserable day out there. It is a WRAL weather alert day, a little wintry mix up near the Virginia line where we have a winter weather advisory. That does include Durham and Chatham counties, but mostly it's the counties that border Virginia. Temperatures only in the upper 30s this afternoon and mid-30s overnight. Tonight, we have more rain and chilly temperatures in the forecast tomorrow. Highs in the mid-40s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 123 points at 44,593.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Before we get into Football at 4, text the keyword FEST, F-E-S-T, to 919-860-5326. Again, 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 27th. Again, text the keyword FEST, F-E-S-T, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 27th. This 2025 year for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers is a massive one. It's not just for him, it's for the organization as a whole. And the reason why I say is this. After the 2025 season, Bryce Young will have completed 3 years in the NFL. He'll be eligible for a contract extension. Not only will he be eligible for a contract extension, but it's also a decision that the Carolina Panthers organization has to make regarding if they want to pick up his fifth-year rookie option. For those who don't know, in the NFL, if you're a first-round pick, teams have the ability to add a fifth year to your rookie contract. All rookie contracts, if you're a drafted player, are 4 years in length. The fifth year can be added onto a rookie's contract if they are a first-round pick. And that first-round pick, if they get that fifth year, that money is guaranteed. The rule used to be it was only guaranteed for injury, but now the league has made the change and amended the rule saying that if you pick up a player's fifth-year option, that salary is fully guaranteed no matter what. And the reason why I bring that up is, for example, Daniel Jones, first-round pick right out of Duke to the New York Giants. After his third year, they did not pick up his fifth-year option. But then in that fourth year, though, in that final year of his rookie deal, Giants make the playoffs. Granted, it was Saquon Barkley doing a lot of the work at running back, but they made the playoffs. Now they felt like, dang it, now we have to sign this guy to a contract extension because you didn't have that fifth-year option as a cushion. So now you have to sign him to this contract extension because you feel like you have to keep this guy. You don't want to use the franchise tag on him and so forth. And that's where we get the 4-year, $160 million deal, and look how that's turned out for the Giants. It hasn't. So that's why I say 2025 is so big for Bryce Young, not only for himself, but also for the decisions of the franchise moving forward. Bryce Young was last week during Radio Row Super Bowl was on with Kay Adams. Up and Adams with Kay Adams is the name of the show, part of FanDuel Sports Network. Talked about that end of the season, that Week 18 game against the Atlanta Falcons, where he factored in for 5 touchdowns. Ran for a couple, threw for 3 of them. What it meant for him to have that state performance at the end of the year.
I'm super grateful for that. I think it was just as a team we wanted to make a statement. We wanted to make sure that we finished on our own terms. Coach Canales is always talking about finish. That's kind of just a theme for us, a mantra, and something that we try to live by. And obviously we knew that was going to be the last game of the year. And I was just so proud to be a part of a team like that. With that, knowing that, it's off season next week, no one phoned it in. There was no lack of confidence or lack of focus throughout the week. And then, on Sunday, you can go out there and just think about, have a foot in the parking lot, think about the off season. But for us to battle, pull out a game in OT, it means something to everyone. That was something that I was super grateful to be a part of.
It was a heck of a performance to end the year, and that hopefully carries momentum for him and the team going into the offseason, especially knowing that you have the same play caller, same head coach. Pretty much your entire offense is intact and coming back. That's a big thing for a young quarterback. But again, there comes in the question of what Dan Morgan, the general manager, what does he think of Bryce Young as a long-term prospect, a long-term projection? A lot of that is going to be dependent on what he does in 2025 in terms of what Bryce Young's future is. But the way Dan Morgan has to anticipate this is if Bryce Young plays like a quote-unquote franchise quarterback and you are anticipating that after the 2025 season, you are signing him to a big-time contract extension, i.e. what Trevor Lawrence got after his third year, which is about $55 million a year for Trevor Lawrence, another former number 1 overall pick. When you're signing that big-time contract extension, the decisions that you make this offseason have to have that potential decision in mind because all the money that's going to get added in the future. You have to take those things into consideration. Bryce Young did talk about what general manager Dan Morgan, their relationship, but also that open line of communication that Bryce Young has with the GM.
He's always asking me stuff. He wants me to send him things and give him my opinion, which I'm super grateful for. Him having that open mind, having an open line of communication, wanting to include me in things. That means a lot. That goes a long way for me. He's done a great job, so I'm super grateful.
So he has that line of communication with general manager Dan Morgan, but also Bryce Young has a growing and building relationship with Dave Canales. And Dave Canales, after 2 games as a head coach, made a not easy decision to bench Bryce Young. Like, hey, trust me, Dave Canales is fully aware that guy was the number 1 overall pick the year before, and a lot of people are expecting Bryce Young to be a franchise guy. Bryce Young also talked with Kay Adams about his relationship with head coach.
I'm super grateful for Coach. He's always just someone who's so consistent. I have so much respect for that. He's consistent in his personality, consistent in his beliefs. And, especially in a position like that where you're the head coach, it's hard to do. Sometimes you can wear your emotions on your sleeves. Sometimes you could be high and low, and the team can kind of see that. But the level of consistency he has, not only for the team, but for us and in our room. He's in the quarterback room, so I get to hear all of his insights, hear what it is that he has to say. So having that presence is something that is great for me in my development. I'm excited to keep building.
2025 is going to be a massive year for Bryce. And again, it impacts the decisions of Dan Morgan regarding everything else. Believe it or not, Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to win a Super Bowl making $50+ million a year on average. That chews up a big chunk of your salary cap. So the decisions that Dan Morgan makes around that has to be with the fact, at least have to keep in mind, knowing at some point you might have to be paying Bryce Young a massive contract extension. And just also what the market dictates. It's also just what the market dictates. We'll talk about the market here in a second, but here's Bryce Young talking about what it's like having confidence from the organization going into next year.
It means a lot, just knowing how to operate, how to move forward, just getting that vote of confidence from the organization, from everyone. I'm super grateful for that. And then it's just time to parlay that into success, of course, just as a team. I'm super excited because we all understand the work that it's going to take, and we're all excited for that. We all have that the attitude of just wanting to get better throughout the offseason for next year, wanting to build, want to continue to grow. I'm all in. Everyone's all in. I'm grateful to just get back to work and continue building.
This is the going rate for quarterbacks right now. I'm just looking at average annual value of contract. Dak Prescott, $60 million a year. Joe Burrow, $55. Jordan Love, $55. Trevor Lawrence, $55. Tua Tagovailoa, $53.1. Jared Goff, $53. Justin Herbert, $52.5. Lamar Jackson, $52. Jalen Hurts, $51. That's the going rate for a QB. So the free agent choices that Dan Morgan makes, the trades, whatever it is that he does this offseason, has to keep in mind that $55-ish million, that's the going rate right now. We don't know what Brock Purdy's going to sign for as a free agent this offseason. I mean, he's under contract, his rights are under control with the San Francisco 49ers. But that's only going to move up. The market's only going to move up further. That's just the way things are when it comes to the QB price tag. It's just what the market dictates. That's it. Whether you think he's worthy of it or not. So people that are clamoring for, hey, go get T. Higgins, go break the bank for that guy, or Myles Garrett, well, you're going to have to pay him. And you also have to anticipate that Bryce Young's going to get paid, and you have Robert Hunt's big contract, and Damian Lewis, and you might have to sign J.C. Horn, and you might sign Ike Ekwonu to long-term extensions as well. where does the rest of the money fall? All things that Dan Morgan has to take into consideration. It's not just a Dan Morgan putting together a roster for 2025. He has to think about 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Graham, you and I both lost yesterday in the ladder challenge, but we are set and ready to make things up. Also, we have another round of Copper Drop coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
In no way, shape, or form are the Dallas Mavericks title contenders. To me, it's more likely they don't make the playoffs than win a title. They're not winning a title. They're not getting to the finals. This is not a finals team by any stretch of the imagination. They got worse now and later.
I vehemently disagree. I think the Dallas Mavericks are closer to a title.
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Bonuses used to be everywhere. Boxes of cereal, a baker's dozen, airline upgrades, even without quadruple diamond platinum status. Life is better with the bonus. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery is adding bonus chances to multiply your win on Multiply the Cash scratch-offs. More chances than ever to win over $140 million in total prizes. Because everything is better with a bonus. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.31 to 4.86. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This is Gordon Miller with Miller Lending and Carey, and I have a question. When it comes time to buy a house, do you just look at one? Probably not. So when it comes time to working with a lender, multiple surveys have shown that borrowers who requested multiple quotes were far more likely to receive better terms when compared to those who likely only spoke to one. So why Miller Lending? As a mortgage broker, we're not limited to only one lender, as is the case with your bank. We act as more of a one-stop shop. With access to over 24 lenders, it's not uncommon to receive multiple bids for your mortgage. Recently, we've saved numerous homeowners upwards of $10,000 or more in closing costs for the same interest rate they'd been quoted. Now, while you may think all lenders are the same, they aren't. So whether it's a no closing cost purchase, our highly competitive FHA, VA, or jumbo rate, see why thousands of satisfied clients have chosen Miller Lending as their lender for life. 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Get ready. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale is coming to the State Fairgrounds February 14th through the 16th at the Carr Scott Building. It'll be filled to the max with boats ready for immediate delivery featuring Suzuki outboards. Shop center console, runabouts, deck boats, bass boats, pontoons, aluminum boats, and more, all under one roof. Boat Show only savings, discounts up to $12,000, factory rebates, and special financing on site. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, February 14th through the 16th at the Carr Scott Building on the State Fairgrounds, featuring Suzuki outboards, free admission, and parking.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with a sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. This month, get 3 rooms of carpets clean, starting at $109, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResRaleigh.com.
Now is Jarvis coming in on from Melka. He scores! A beautiful goal, Seth Jarvis. And the Canes go up 5-2.
For those of you wondering, with the Four Nations tournament starting tomorrow, Canada takes on Sweden. Seth Jarvis on Team Canada, skating on the right wing on the third line with Braden Point and Brad Marchand. Braden Point centering that line. Give me USA, obviously. Give me USA in this one. Graham, we're not going to put any money on USA as we get into the ladder challenge, Graham. But I think you and I both stunk yesterday when it came to our picks.
Yeah, we did not do too good.
I actually had Luka Doncic. I kind of caught into the hype. I should have been like, wait, he's on a minutes restriction. I should not put anything on the ladder challenge. So I said, Luka Doncic, give me 25-plus points. Give me Luka Doncic, 9-plus assists. Lost both those. But it's okay, Graham. We're going to make up for it. What did you bet on yesterday?
Yesterday, I took the same game, which was probably my mistake. I did the Boston Celtics at the Miami Heat. I had Jason Tatum to record a double-double.
Okay.
He had 33 points, 8 rebounds.
Oh, how they
so,
get you.
Close but no cigar. And then I also had Al Horford under 1.5 3-pointers made. He made 2. 2 for 4 in total. So that's what I get for a bet on the same game. I'm not going to make that mistake twice. I am going to stick with the NBA, though, tonight.
Okay. By the way, since Tim is out, the way Graham and I are doing the ladder challenge, as opposed to rolling over and carrying over money, we're actually just doing it. Who makes the most money on a day? 2 picks. Whoever makes the most money that day wins that day. So, Graham, you won on Friday last week.
Yep.
We both stunk yesterday. So, you're still up 1-0. You get to go first.
All right, as I mentioned, I'm going to stick with the NBA. 2 games tonight that I'm looking at. First, the New York Knicks at the Indiana Pacers. Give me Tyrese Halliburton, excuse me. Been making a lot of appearances on WWE recently, so I'm a big Halliburton fan.
Okay.
Give me Tyrese Halliburton. Anytime block plus 100 has hit in 5 of the Pacers' last 5 games.
Okay.
I love the plus value.
I love the good plus value. What's your next pick?
And then I'm going to do the Memphis Grizzlies at the Phoenix Suns. Give me Kevin Durant over 4.5 assists plus 116. That is hit in 7 of the Suns' last 7 home games.
Okay, and what's the line on that one?
Plus 116.
Plus 116. Okay. All right. So $10 on each. I'm going to go Florida, top 25 men's basketball matchup. Number 3, Florida taking on number 22, Mississippi State. Give me Florida on the money line, minus 102 on the road. Minus 102. So that $10 will pay out to $19.80. But also, I say, you know what? We're going to go full degenerate on this one, Graham.
Okay.
Full degenerate on this one. Little ACC men's basketball action. Syracuse on the road at Miami. That's right, couple bottom dwellers. Miami actually is the worst team in the ACC.
An absolute dogfight is what you're expecting.
Yes. I think a rock fight would actually be a disrespect to rock fights if I were to describe this game. But give me Syracuse on the money line on the road, plus 120.
Who'd you say Florida has again?
They're at Mississippi State.
Coming off that big win against Auburn this past Saturday.
I know.
Better hope there's not a letdown effect.
Well, you know what? Clemson didn't have a letdown yesterday against North Carolina after beating Duke.
Fair enough.
Just saying. That's what good teams do. You don't have those letdowns. So, yes, give me Syracuse at Miami.
History's on your side for the Florida Gators. This is the first time they've been ranked within the top 5 since the 2013-14 season.
Okay.
So let's keep the train going. Let's go Gators for the sake of Dennis Cox. Well, I guess I want them to lose since we're going head-to-head.
I guess it's true. Or we can just all win, Graham.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You might win the ladder challenge, but we all can make some money.
Fair enough.
All right, so that's the ladder challenge. We'll obviously check in on that same time tomorrow. But let's go ahead and get into a little game we like to play called Copper Drop. So the way Copper Drop works, Graham asks me a question. Cop basically, am I buying it, dropping it, saying no? Graham, I do not know what these questions are, but Graham, fire away.
Let's start with Carolina basketball since that's been the main theme of today's show.
That it is.
Here we go, Dennis.
All right.
Copper drop. Ian Jackson will enter the transfer portal after this season with UNC basketball.
Oh. Ian Jackson enters the transfer portal. I say drop because he goes to the NBA draft.
Okay.
Right now, they actually showed it yesterday during the broadcast with Clemson that Ian Jackson was projected to be right around pick 21, 22. I think Drake Powell was somewhere in like the 17, 18 range, so outside of the lottery. But if you're projected to be a first-round pick it's hard to turn that contract down because the big thing for players is getting to the second contract. That's the big thing for it. It's about getting to the second contract. Ian Jackson has struggled lately. I mean, he's a freshman. Young players, as someone who used to coach college lacrosse, I coached it for 9 years. There's always a point at somewhere in the middle point in the season, mid to late part of the year, where freshmen hit a wall.
Yeah.
They just simply do. They just hit a wall. And it's something that just players have to fight through. Sometimes you got to cut their minutes. Sometimes you got to ask them to do less. And that way they don't feel as much pressure. Because sometimes young freshmen, young players, even though you've still played about 20 games or so, these are high-stakes games against better competition than what you faced in high school.
And he was peaking pretty early, like midway through the season.
Sometimes that happens. Or sometimes you have the reverse where young freshmen just aren't ready to handle it early, and then you start to see them grow as the season goes along once you start to ask them to do more, like Trey Parker is doing right now with NC State.
Yeah.
So again, freshmen are always going to be a little bit different in that regard, but Ian Jackson physically and has the skill set to play college basketball, obviously. But right now, after that stretch where he's scoring 20-plus points a game, it felt like on average for about 5 or 6 games in a row, teams are starting to key on him a little bit more, and he's not getting as many clean looks. And I think he's probably truly struggling on the floor probably for the first time in his basketball career. And he's just trying to fight through it. It's not an easy thing to do.
Gosh,
it really is not.
I'm trying to remember when the last time he had like a significant game. Maybe the NC State game on the road for Carolina in that 1-point win. I mean, he's just been so quiet lately.
Yeah, he's still averaging second on the team in scoring at 13.3 points per game. But if you actually go back to...
It just doesn't feel like it.
If you look at individual games and just total points scored, the last time he scored double-digit points was 19 against Boston College.
Okay.
But the 2 games before that against Wake Forest and Stanford, he had 7 points and 6. So really in the last 7 games, he's hit double-digit scoring once. Including, actually, I was at the game Saturday against Pitt. He didn't score any. He was 0 for 3 shooting in that game as a total. He was 0 for 8 yesterday from the field. All 3 of his points came from the free throw line.
Yeah, they got to get him going again, which you could say that about a lot of players for Carolina basketball right now, honestly.
In the stretch from the UCLA game to the game against Cal where they played at home, in that 7-game stretch, he scored 20 points or more 6 of the 7 times. And the one game he didn't score 20, he scored 18. He was hot there in the middle of the year, but since the Stanford game, it's cooled off. But again, freshmen hit a wall. It just simply happens. The guy is good. He really is. I'm not going to harp on the young guy. I've been through it as a former college athlete. I struggled at times my freshman year too, and as someone who's coached, I understand that these freshmen sometimes struggle at different points as well. Hopefully he regains that confidence and finds it because UNC needs it desperately.
Yep. So you're dropping Ian Jackson to enter the transfer portal just because he might enter the NBA draft.
I'm going to say he goes to the NBA draft.
Let's stay on Carolina basketball once again. Copper drop. If things do not go the Tar Heels' way this season, they miss the NCAA tournament, they'll actually accept their NIT bid this season.
Oh, would they accept the NIT bid if they don't make the NCAA tournament? I'm going to go with what recent history has told me. I'm dropping. I say they turn the invitation down. They did it 2 years ago, which I disagreed with that decision. I wholeheartedly did. I thought they should have played in the NIT a couple years ago. I know that's not their standard, but gosh, we saw them, remember with Roy Williams, after they got to, I think actually won a championship, missed the NCAA tournament the next year. They still play in the NIT.
Yeah.
They say, hey, you know what? We weren't good enough to make the NCAA tournament. We're going to go play in the NIT. We're still playing basketball. Granted, different time because you got to factor in transfer portal and those kinds of things. But to me, I think they would turn it down.
All right.
I think they would turn it down.
Fair enough. Also, that was Roy Williams' last season. They also lost to Clemson in that year as well. Could history repeat itself as far as UNC coaching? We'll just have to wait and see. Moving on, right down the road to Durham, Copper drop. Duke basketball will win out their remaining schedule this season.
I'll cop that. Duke's schedule really isn't that tough. I know they have a neutral site game against Illinois up in Madison Square Garden, which is basically a home game for Duke basketball. So I think they'll win that one. But, I mean, you can say there's the rivalry aspect of the game on the road at the Smith Center when they got to play North Carolina. But is there anything about North Carolina right now that scares you if you're Duke? No. Going on the road? No.
I was just about to say, I tried to make the argument the first meeting of the season between North Carolina and Duke of, hey, there's one game for you guys to get up for if you're North Carolina. Is playing against your rival, is playing against Duke, and that didn't work. So I agree with you in that aspect.
Home game against Cal, home game against Stanford, at Virginia, neutral site against Illinois, who's not even in the top 25 anymore, at Miami, home versus Florida State, home versus Wake, at North Carolina. These 8 games, they should win these last 8. I think especially coming off that loss against Clemson.
Wake Forest is the toughest one that I see remaining, but again, you had that one at Cameron Indoor Stadium. You were able to get by in the first meeting. I think Duke, after this loss to Clemson, it's going to light a fire into them, and they're just going to they're going to get better in these late game situations if they play a close one against Wake Forest, which is the only one I could see being a close one in that remaining schedule.
For sure.
Coming back to Raleigh, Copper drop. Sticking with college basketball, NC State doesn't win another game this season.
Oh, in men's basketball? Doesn't win another game this season. Oh, that's rough. Looking down the remaining 8 games, home against Louisville tomorrow, I don't see them winning. Home Saturday against Boston College. I mean, you're talking about 2 bottom dwellers in the ACC.
That's a rock fight.
That, again, don't want to disrespect rock fights. On the road at North Carolina, they're not going to be favored against that one. Home against Wake, I don't see them winning that. I'm going to drop that they lose out. I'm going to drop because there are teams at their level in the conference that they play, Boston College in Miami specifically. Now, Miami's going to be on the road, but that's the last game of the year.
That's your play-in game for the ACC tournament.
No, that's going to be it. That's not even going to be a play-in game for the ACC tournament.
That's just a play for pride game.
That's a senior day for Miami, and that's it. And you're playing at Georgia Tech, which maybe home against Pitt. I don't see it because Pitt's desperate. I don't think they lose out the rest of the year in the remaining 8 games. I don't see that happening, so I will drop it.
Well, going back to that final game of the season against Miami on the road, it could be the last chance for Trey Parker to put some tape together on this NC State roster because my next one is Copper Drop. Trey Parker will enter the transfer portal after this season.
I don't know Trey personally. I don't. I have not had a chance to speak with him, so I'm not going to say this is what he would or would not do. I'll cop it in the sense of I wouldn't be surprised.
Now that he's putting some game film together.
Well, I think it's just also that, but it's just also I think so I'll cop it in the sense of we talked about North Carolina. There's not a whole lot going for UNC right now. There's less going for NC State as a program right now. There's not much going for them right now. And if he wants greener pastures, it's going to have to come from somewhere else. And I think that's not me saying that's what Trey Parker should or should not do. I think that's just more of an indictment of what NC State's program is as a basketball team right now. I see there's a lot of roster turnover with that team after the season. Obviously, there's going to be some guys that graduate. Every team has that. But I just would not be surprised. So I'll cop it just for the simple reason of there's just not a lot going on great with the NC State basketball program right now.
And last one, we're going to conclude on the ice. Copper Drop. Out of the 4 players representing the Carolina Hurricanes in the Four Nations face-offs during tomorrow, Seth Jarvis will be the most impressive.
Define impressive.
As far as, if you want to look at like stats and categories, like who scores the most goals out of Jacob Slavin, Mikko Rantanen, Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis will acquire the most points out of those 3. Out of those 4.
He's going to have the most points. Oh, that's tough. I'm going to drop it. I'll drop it for the simple fact that Seth Jarvis isn't probably going to get any power play time, whereas Sebastian Aho and Mikko Rantanen will be. I think actually at practice for the lines today for Finland. Again, Finland doesn't play again until Thursday against Team USA. Canada plays tomorrow against Sweden. Seth Jarvis is skating on the quote-unquote third line with Braden Point and Brad Marchand, but he's not on one of the power play units. Sebastian Aho and Mikko Rantanen are each skating in the top 6, and they're both on the top power play unit for Finland. So for me, I would say it's probably going to be either Rantanen or Aho. But if you want to say just impressive in terms of someone that stands out with other plays that they make, Seth Jarvis, yeah, I'll buy that. I think he might be, we can go ahead and lower the music there. I think this is a Seth Jarvis showing the hockey world who he is.
Yep.
I think this is the opportunity for him to do that. I think this is the Seth Jarvis, hey, this is who I am that all Carolina Hurricanes fans know. Hey, look, guys, look at this fun young superstar, growing superstar who can play in every facet of the game, who can obviously has a fun personality that we all are attracted to. Like, he's just a fun guy. He kind of reminds you of, like, man, that's like everyone's little brother.
Yeah.
He's almost like Canes fans, like, yeah, he's our little brother. You don't mess with him, though, because that's our guy, you know? It's funny how he talks about when he plays with Jordan Staal and Jordan Martinook. He's like, it's my two dads.
Yep.
Like, it's the my two dads line.
Yep.
It's fun because they have that rapport, but it's like everyone's little brother. But what usually happens when it comes to the little brother and family, that people that play a sport, the little brother is usually the most talented one because they get beat up and picked on, but they also pick up on the skills of the older brother at a young age, and then their skill just eventually gets better than theirs. So I think this is going to be the NHL world is going to see, and the casual hockey world is going to see just how good this guy is.
After the Carolina Hurricanes win against Utah this past Saturday, Corey Lavalette of the North State Journal covers the Hurricanes, asked a great question to Rod Brindamore as far as there was some pushback when Seth Jarvis was first announced that he had made the Team Canada roster. As far as, you know, he's still young, he's still maturing, what has he really done in the league? And then Corey made a great point as far as did his performance in the win against Utah with the 2 goals, 2 assists, was that a good showing of just how good of a player that he is? And Adam Gold today on Next Up brought up a great point that he thinks Seth Jarvis proved that he deserved to be in this situation last year when he played half the season with that injury.
Yeah, more than half the season. It was about 15, 16 games in. Has a
torn labrum.
Torn labrum, and I think he hurt his rotator cuff as well.
Broke his thumb, too.
Hey, he played that in the playoffs. Yeah, he had a hurt shoulder, played all but the last game of the year. They sat him just to kind of get ready for the playoffs. Still put up 67 points, 33 goals with a hurt shoulder for a guy who's quote-unquote undersized, which, let's be honest, he is a little undersized. But, yeah, the guy is that good. He's that good. I mean, gosh, how many scoring opportunities has he created just on penalty kills alone? Like, just that aspect of his game is enough to be warranted. The one thing that people had to keep in mind when it comes to these rosters, we'll kind of wrap up on this, is that when you're putting together these rosters for these tournaments, or these, in this case, the 4 nations, you have to put together a complete team. It just can't be a collection of all-star scorers. You actually have to have guys that can play roles of, hey, we need a penalty kill. Who's going to go out there? All right, we're taking a defensive zone face-off. Who's going to go out there that we can trust to make those plays? No different than what the Carolina Hurricanes do. It's no different. I think the world's going to see it. Yeah, there may have been some pushback. Oh, why is this Seth Jarvis guy in there and not Connor Bedard? Because Seth Jarvis plays a full and complete game. He's responsible defensively. He kills penalties. He does all the dirty stuff. That's why. Speaking of the Carolina Hurricanes, real quick here, Graham, the fact that you mentioned the 4 nations and the Canes here. Trade deadline's March 7th. I don't think, talk about putting together a full and complete roster, I don't think they're done making trades. I don't think they're done making trades.
I could see it.
Couple things. Right now, William Carrier's still hurt. He's got more of a long-term injury, lower body. You're anticipating and hoping that he'll be back at the end of the regular season or right at the beginning of the playoffs. So he is out right now. Hopefully you get him back soon. Tyson Jost dealing with a lower body injury. Hopefully this couple of weeks off further gets him closer. He was skating with the team, non-contact jersey, but at least he's skating with the team. That's a good sign. But there is still questions now, especially down the middle of the ice at center. We saw Jesperi Kotkaniemi get hot for like a little stretch. Can he be that consistently? We have not seen that yet. History tells us no. We know what Sebastian Aho is and what Aho is capable of being. We know what Jordan Staal is in terms of him being the quote-unquote shutdown guy. But there's still question marks, especially with Jack Drury no longer there. There's still question marks at center. Also, by taking Jack Drury off the roster, you take away one of your top penalty killers as well. Because if Jordan Staal is not out there to take a face-off in the defensive end of the ice, Jack Drury was the next guy. You don't have him anymore. So he's gone. What's your center depth going to look like? Who else is going to be out there to kill penalties? There's still things in small parts of this roster that still need to be put together. I do not think that this Canes roster is done being put together. I don't think so. I still think the Carolina Hurricanes make trades. I still think they find themselves a depth center. Maybe Jack Roslovic's the guy that gets dealt. He's on a one-year contract, $2.8 million. Maybe he's the guy that gets flipped and goes the other way. If a team's like, hey, look, we'll take on Roslovic, and as long as you would give us, a pick or a young, mid-level prospect, we'll make the move because we're looking to trade away so-and-so. We're trying to clear cap space going into next year. Jack Roslovic may be that guy. I don't know. That's something that Eric Tulsky has to decide. But right now, Jack Roslovic, this calendar year of 2025, has 2 goals and 1 assist in nearly 20 games. Something is going to change still on this roster going forward. Hopefully this break will give them an opportunity to really reset and focus. All right, what do we need? And how do we get there? Can you make it work? So that's Copper Drop. It's a drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, I know this weather kind of stinks right now, but imagine the beautiful, warm, sunny weather that we had in recent days. Spring coming up. Nice warm weather, beautiful days, sun's up longer in the day, and you're just cruising around town on your very own custom motorcycle. Just imagine that. Picture that. Well, that can be you. That's a real possibility because the Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and the Carolina Hurricanes, they've all teamed up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Pretty simple to enter, folks. Just go to caniacsbike.com. You'll see pictures of the bike right there on the site. Again, caniacsbike.com. Custom built right here in Raleigh at Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson. It's where I bought my motorcycle. Great crew over there. It's where I get my motorcycle serviced. They do a great job over there. And Shiny Side Paint, also located right here in Raleigh, did a fantastic job of painting this bike, Canes colors, Canes logos, decals. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, a custom-built motorcycle. It's one of one. It's got beautiful white wall tires and everything. It's a gorgeous bike. I can't win it, but you can. And if you win this bike, hit me up. We'll go out for a ride together. Just go to caniacsbike.com. Deadline to enter is April 6th. The bike will be given away on the ice at the last home game of the year. But don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We have a community that we've built on YouTube, online, 99.9 The Fan. If you go on YouTube, you can subscribe there. Please go do that. But also, we encourage and want you all to leave comments. And the reason why we do that, because we want you all to be part of this show, be part of this family, and that's why we have a Feedback Frenzy. Your thoughts, Feedback Frenzy, coming up.
This Valentine's Day, if you really want to impress me, how about a romantic meal at home from the Butcher's Market? So we each get a juicy filet mignon, lobster tails, twice baked potatoes, and 4 long-stem chocolate-covered strawberries. Pretty romantic.
Right. And the folks over at the Butcher's Market have made it so easy for guys like us. I just order online, and it'll be ready for pickup when I walk in the door.
So what are you waiting for? Visit thebutchersmarket.com now. Trust me, you'll be glad you did.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Young is under center. Here's the snap. Sanders up the middle, charging through the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. The Panthers walk it off to end the season.
That was a fun end of the season for the Carolina Panthers. Hey, undefeated in 2025. Even the Chiefs can't say that. It's a Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. At this time, 4:45, we do a little thing called Feedback Frenzy. This is where we ask you all to leave comments, to leave thoughts, whether it's in YouTube, whether it's on the live chat, the comments under videos, whether it's something you directly tweet at us, at The Fan Rookie for me, at Donnelly Sports for Tim, who's out. Graham, what is your X handle?
At Graham Hill 98.
At Graham Hill 98. Whatever you lead us, this is your opportunity, or an opportunity for us to share you all what you're thinking. So, Graham, what have the people been saying?
Our first feedback frenzy comes to us from Soma J. DeGoat, and this is in regards to what the Carolina Panthers can learn from the Eagles' Super Bowl win. Everyone wants to get a wide receiver, but the offense was good enough this past season to win games. The defense was just so horrible that they would have to score 30 more points in order to win games.
Have to score 30-plus points.
Yep.
Yeah, the defense for the Panthers this past year was bad. Was just flat out bad. It was one of, if not the, it was the worst defense of the NFL. I'll go ahead and say it. So yes, there was a lot of people who say yes, let's get a number one wide receiver for Bryce Young. Imagine what the offense can be with the true number one wideout. I get it. I have thoughts and visions of that too. Like, man, imagine if there was a T. Higgins on this team, or you drafted someone that had the size and speed and the build similar to that and has that skill set. I can only imagine what this offense really could do. But if I put all my resources into the offense, at least all the money that I have into the offense, and just expect a bunch of rookies and undrafted free agents to fill all the holes on defense, yeah, you're going to need to score 35 points a game in order to be competitive. The Panthers were competitive in a lot of games that they lost this last year with the offense, with what they had, with Adam Thielen missing a chunk of time, Xavier Legette missing a chunk of time, even Jalen Coker missing some time as well, JT Sanders, their young tight end, missing some time. And the offense played pretty well for the most part down the stretch. Was it perfect? No, far from it. But yeah, the defense needs help. Yeah, you could spend all your free agency money on trading for T. Higgins and signing him to a big fat contract. Great, cool, awesome. You going to win 35-34 every game? Because last year the Panthers averaged, 32 or 33 points per game given up, nearly 34?
Yep.
Fix your defense.
It's not a recipe for success.
No, it's not. You know why it's not? Because you went 5-12. All right, what's next?
Remember last week when the Carolina Hurricanes lost 3 games in a row and everybody was panicking?
Yes, I do remember.
Well, Shirley Daly, 53-35, wanted to let us know that we're just not a great scoring team. Love Mika, but not a great fit for this team. 100% he is leaving at the end of the season for a team built more fit for him.
I caution Canes fans on this. We've said it at the beginning of the season when free agents have come in playing for this system for the first time. Trades and stuff that they've made before. The system that the Carolina Hurricanes run is a difficult one to adjust to. And not just for a forward or just for defense, it's just everybody. So not only are you trying to adjust on the fly, like Mikko Rantanen is doing, you're also trying to adjust your life on the fly. At least with the free agent, and I've talked to free agent players that came, whether it was Shane Gostisbehere that came back, Sean Walker, these guys that came in during the offseason. Sometimes I ask them, like, hey, how's the adjustment to the area been? Like, it's nice. We're still trying to figure out where to eat and do all this stuff. I remember I talked to one Canes player this offseason. I won't say who it was. That was a free agent signing, and he said, yeah, we were living out of an Airbnb for about 3 weeks while we were trying to find a house. It's like, so there's the life adjustment to all this. Mikko Rantanen's got his place out in Colorado, in Denver, and all of a sudden, hey, actually pack your bags. Well, they actually were already on the road, the Colorado Avalanche, where they were set to play in Boston.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, hey, we need you to come over here to play the New York Islanders, so we need you down over here now.
Met the team at the team mill.
Yeah, exactly, that morning. Met the team then. I don't know if he's even had a chance to go back to his own apartment. He probably had to get stuff shipped. There's a whole life aspect that comes to this thing as well that a lot of people just don't take into consideration. So to say that he's not a good fit, I'm not entirely sure about that, because what do the Carolina Hurricanes love to do, especially on the offensive end? Pucks deep, forecheck, winning board battles, all those things. That's what Mikko Rantanen can do. So he's just trying to find his place about how he fits, but it's also the guys trying to fit their way around him too. It takes a little bit of time. It's not going to be instant from Rantanen's situation. People are going to compare it to Martin Necas, and I totally get that, but Martin Necas is asked to do less in Colorado. More free-flowing for him offensively. Doesn't have to be as responsible on defense. He's getting about 7 more minutes of ice time per game. Yeah, you're going to get that instant success more early. To me, it's about playoffs and building towards that time. All right, what's next, Graham?
I want to stay on the Carolina Hurricanes and Mikko Rantanen for just a second.
Sure.
Because during your conversation with Tim Donnelly last week about the Hurricanes still having time to figure them out as far as their system, 06XTOR told us that he's a Colorado fan. Watching Mikko for the last 10 years, he will always be one of the guys and a really good player, but I fear that you guys have elevated him to be more than what he really is. He's not a superstar. I would trade him before the deadline if I were you guys, or else you'll probably lose him for nothing. This also just ties into to our conversation we had earlier in this hour, which you can watch on YouTube.
I mean, I don't know if we're the ones that are defining him as superstars. Like, we're elevating him when pretty much every analyst that talks about Mikko Rantanen, that they put together, compiling the list of top, 50 players in the NHL, top 100 players, whatever it might be. And Rantanen's listed at like 6th, 7th, 8th. Like, that's not us putting him there. That's everyone puts him there.
That's the National Hockey Media.
Exactly. That's a lot of people. And you don't just accidentally score 100-plus points in a season if you're just a really, really good player.
Right.
Like, that's superstar level status. When you're putting up 100-plus points, I don't care who's around you. You still have to produce. So I understand what he's saying. But, yeah, he's a really, really good player. Maybe we're excited for him because we haven't had a player of that level or that caliber in a long, long time, maybe since Eric Stahl in his prime. But yeah, flipping him for the trade deadline, I don't see that happening. Because even if you don't keep him, okay, fine. You still have $38.7 million in cap space. If you want to go after someone else, go for it. You have that option now. All right, what's next?
Last one here, and I meant to do this earlier when we were discussing the Carolina Panthers,
Okay.
so apologies for jumping back to it. This was back regarding your conversation of why Carolina Panthers fans shouldn't overreact to playing the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles so much. And it also ties into people saying that the Panthers should maybe look to go after Deebo Samuel.
Okay.
AJ Pennypacker, too, said, man, Deebo is not worth our attention. The Niners coaching staff and management wanted him to be a Christian McCaffrey so bad last year.
Yeah, about Deebo Samuel. He was given permission to seek a trade. Deebo Samuel was. Again, he was given permission to seek a trade. So if he can come to terms with a contract extension with another team, and if he thinks the situation is right, then the 49ers can discuss with that team about potential compensation in terms of the trade and all that stuff. So they're giving Deebo Samuel the option or the ability to choose where he wants to go. If I'm him, I'm 29 years old. I want to go to a team that can compete right now. I want to go to a team that can win now. That needs a number one receiver. Maybe that's Pittsburgh. Maybe it's Dallas being opposite of CeeDee Lamb or something like that. I just don't see it as Carolina. Not for a team that's still building. I don't see him wanting to play the rest of his prime years in a place that's building. I don't see that. If he's given permission to seek the trade and choose where he wants to go, I don't see it happening. Also, the Panthers need to devote so many resources to so many other needs that they have. Like your entire defense, just about. They legit need like 6 starters on defense. Seriously. Plus depth. Let alone at least, again, minimum 6 starters. Don't need to be going all in on the number one wide receiver. Not yet. Not yet. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. That was a little bit of feedback frenzy. Starting 5 is coming up, including UNC basketball getting thumped by Clemson. And the latest NCAA tournament predictions. Who is on the outside looking in? Next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
Best idea for both of you this Valentine's Day? Adam and Eve. Everybody wins when you walk in with a gift from your local Adam and Eve store. Maybe you've been to one of our 6 Triangle locations. Maybe this is the reason you've been waiting for. Adam and Eve stores are filled with romantic, intimate gifts, from playful to passionate and everything in between. They'll even gift wrap it for you. Shop in store today and get a free gift with a qualifying purchase at your local Adam and Eve, where pleasure begins and passion never ends.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready! The Chatley Boat Show and Sale is coming to the State Fairgrounds February 14th through the 16th at the Carr Scott Building. It'll be filled to the max with boats ready for immediate delivery featuring Suzuki outboards. Shop center console, runabouts, deck boats, bass boats, pontoons, aluminum boats, and more, all under one roof. Boat Show only savings, discounts up to $12,000, factory rebates, and special financing on site. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, February 14th through the 16th at the Carr Scott Building on the State Fairgrounds, featuring Suzuki outboards, free admission, and parking.
Hey guys, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and Cupid's arrow is pointing straight to Bailey's. We're here to help and make it easy for you to find the perfect gift for the one you love. Bailey's has something for everyone and every budget. We have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts for under $500, from David Yurman, Apolita, Mikimoto, Lagos, and more. And if you're looking for something extra special, we also have an amazing selection of diamond jewelry. Shop in-store or online at baileybox.com. Give her a gift that's better than chocolate or roses with the easiest and can't-miss way to make her Valentine's Day extra special with a little black and white striped box from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Located in Raleigh's Village District and Crabtree Valley Mall, also in Cary's Fenton, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. Just a little reminder from me, Marcy Bailey. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. February is the month for love. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to your rug. It's the Love Your Rug Special. Have you ever Googled the company Zero Res? They have a 4.9 rating, and they want to come in and take all the nasty dirt, dander, bacteria, and germs that keep recirculating again and again and again throughout your house from your carpets and floors and get rid of them. They want you to love your floors the way you should this February. So visit them online at zeroresraleigh.com or call 919-995-0000 and get the Love Your Rug Special. That's 3 rooms of carpets cleaned starting at $109 and $100 off air duct cleaning on top of it. It's happening this month from Zero Res. zeroresraleigh.com or 919-995-0000.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Keep that rain gear handy. Most of the rain we see this evening will be light, but it will be picking up overnight and for the morning commute. 35 the low. We have a low-end risk for flooding on Wednesday, the high at 43.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day up 123 points at 44,593.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Graham Hill producing the show. You know what? Let's not waste any more time, Graham. Let's get right into the starting five. Starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They knock off Duke and North Carolina in back-to-back games here at Little John Coliseum. And the crowd loving it here, and so is Brad Brownell as they improve to 20-5.
85-65, Clemson knocks off North Carolina yesterday. And after about the midpoint of the first half, it wasn't even that close. It really wasn't. There was a point where Clemson led by 28 in this game. 28. Hubert Davis, head coach of North Carolina, talked about his level of disappointment and frustration in regards to the lack of urgency his team showed yesterday.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about in the game is, and I think it was a question after the game on Saturday in regards to a sense of urgency, and I said, no, it's a sense of emergency. And that's the type of mindset that you have to have in your preparation, practice, and play every day. And it doesn't guarantee you that things will work out your way, but without it, you have no chance. And so from that standpoint, just sad.
So when your head coach is questioning about preparation and effort in a game where you are going against a team that is ranked higher than you, you're going on the road, but also knowing what's at stake for your team and your program about trying to make the NCAA tournament. You need wins. You need wins. And you showed up flat in a game that you need. You showed up flat at this point in the season. 14-11, so game 25, and you're still questioning you guys about preparation and intensity and all that stuff. You're still questioning that? You have no fight?
We need to find defensive intensity.
Whatever. Defensive intensity, motivation, whatever it is. The fact that you still can't lock in as a team and say, hey, you know what? Regardless of our talent, that's just competing. That's fighting. You don't have that. And you are still questioning that at this point. It's a reflection of leadership, both from coaching staff and your top guys on your team. This is what I say. Fifth-year player, R.J. Davis. You're the reigning ACC player of the year. You can't get your guys locked in? Hey, guys, I know what it's like to play in a Final Four, in a championship game. I've been there. I also know what it's like to not make the NCAA tournament. I've been there. Guys, this is what we got to do in order to get to our goal. Where's that on the floor? It's not just the coach, it's on the players too. So yeah, I look at fifth-year guy R.J. Davis. Where are you rallying your guys? You're reigning ACC player of the year. And there's still questions about your team. To me, if I was a senior, I kept dudes in check. When I played in college, I kept dudes in check. No. That stuff ain't going to fly. In practice, no. You hustle. We'll get more into UNC here in just a little bit. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Mark Williams! 2 more! And a foul!
Gotta love an Eric Collins call. Charlotte Hornets. Last week at the NBA trade deadline, Obviously, we know, a lot of people know that Luka Doncic formerly of the Dallas Mavericks was traded to the LA Lakers. Well, the LA Lakers are still trying to figure out, okay, how we're going to piece together the rest of the roster. Oh, we need a center. So they traded their rookie Dalton Knecht, who's a mid-first round draft pick. Good player, by the way. The Lakers traded Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, formerly of Duke, a 2031 first-round pick that goes unprotected, and a 2030 pick swap to the Charlotte Hornets for Mark Williams, their center, formerly of Duke. Mark Williams has missed a bunch of time with various injuries, also spent early in his first couple years in the league, spent a lot of time in the G League in Charlotte with the Greensboro Swarm, developing his game to get ready, for the NBA. So last week, after the trade deadline, a couple days after the trade was announced, the LA Lakers actually failed Mark Williams' physical. They said there's some ailments and some things that they noticed on his physical that were red flags to them, so they failed the physical. So that kind of laid the groundwork of where we are today. The Charlotte Hornets said after the physical was failed by Mark Williams, according to the LA Lakers, guess what? That rescinds the trade. Mark Williams, you go back to Charlotte. The picks, as well as the players from the LA Lakers, Dalton Knecht, you're going back to the Lakers. So Knecht, Reddish, and the picks, they go back to LA. Mark Williams goes back to Charlotte. Trade, nope, doesn't happen. Rescind the trade. Guys go back. You can't amend the trade because it's already past the trade deadline. The Charlotte Hornets said, Graham, hey, you know what? We love Mark Williams. The Lakers, they aggressively pursued him, and we made this deal, but we're so grateful to have Mark Williams back on our team.
They even put out a statement on their social media accounts.
Exactly. They put out a statement saying we love Mark Williams. We love that he's back. I'm
Welcome
paraphrasing
back.
Here.
With arms wide open.
Shout out to Creed. Now the Charlotte Hornets have been in contact with the NBA as to explore options to dispute the LA Lakers' failed physical assessment of Mark Williams. This is according to ESPN last night. The Hornets are considering their next steps, again, according to ESPN. Shams Charania is the ESPN NBA insider. The Hornets are considering their next steps and weighing avenues to challenge the Lakers' evaluation process or seek alternative resolutions with the league office, sources said. So let me get this straight. You were cool with trading Mark Williams away. By the way, Mark Williams was playing in games for Charlotte as recently as Wednesday of last week, just before he got traded. So he's healthy enough to play. So I think that might be the dispute here. It's like, well, we're not trading like someone who hasn't been playing. We're trading someone who actually has been in the lineup and starting and playing for us. So now the Hornets are saying, after the trade gets rescinded, we love Mark. Mark's great. We welcome him back with arms wide open. All of that. But now, hey, actually, you know what? We really do want to trade this guy. We want the picks and the Dalton Knecht and Cam Reddish. That's what we want over there. So what is it?
Two things. My brain hurts. Second, this is the most Charlotte Hornets thing I've ever heard
right
in my entire life.
And it's a new ownership group.
Rinse, wash, repeat. That's been a theme recently for teams that we cover in North Carolina. Maybe that's just the theme for the sports season this year. Rinse, wash, and repeat.
It's funny because the players that were involved in the trade that have returned to their original teams, Cam Reddish, Dalton Knecht, and Mark Williams, all did not play yesterday for their respective teams. So in a statement on Saturday night, again, the Hornets said they were excited to welcome Mark Williams back to the team. Anyway, I just find the whole situation funny. The NBA, the soap opera of professional sports. All right, that's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
I just think this program is at the right spot now to take off. Chancellor Roberts and the Board of Trustees have made a strong commitment toward football at North Carolina.
All right, so that's Bill Belichick, the head coach of the University of North Carolina football team. He hired his son Brian to coach safeties, so it's a family affair. It's the bloodline, Graham. It's the blood. Acknowledge UNC football and the bloodline of the Belichicks. So Bill Belichick has hired Stephen Belichick, one of his sons, to be the defensive coordinator. He was previously the defensive coordinator at University of Washington. He gets him to come over to North Carolina. Now he hires his youngest son, Brian, to coach the safeties. But I will say this. So Bill Belichick making it a family affair. To me, it's no coincidence. We saw Bill Belichick in that Dunkin' Donuts commercial. No coincidence. If he's still a head coach in the NFL, we don't see Bill Belichick in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial at the Super Bowl.
Fair point.
With Ben Affleck and Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, Jay and Silent Bob. We don't see that commercial with Bill Belichick in there. But hey, you know what? North Carolina doing the college recruiting thing. Hey, look where I am, guys. I'm the funny guy that's going on Pat McAfee still. I'm the fun guy that's now in the Dunkin' Donuts commercials, putting his face out there, making it a family affair. To me, it makes perfect sense for Bill Belichick to do all these, for him off the beaten path, like doing all these, whether it's the commercials. Again, you never would have saw that. Because now it's a changing of perception of him, because he was always viewed as like the old curmudgeon-y head coach in New England. With the cutoff hoodie, hair kind of messy, all that kind of stuff. Mumbling through his stuff, not saying anything. Now the guy's in Dunkin' Donuts commercials. So yes, for him, perfect for college football.
Question for you, Dennis.
Yes, talk to me.
As someone who was at Bill Belichick's introductory press conference, and he came out there, and it just seemed like he was more lively. Were you just as someone who was there, were you sitting there thinking, "Oh, this is just the honeymoon phase. This is just him loving up, kissing up on the local media. Sooner or later, he's going to go back to his old McGrudgery self."
I thought about that, and that was actually a big question for myself and a lot of people was, yes, is this just the facade of being introduced as the new head coach? Or is he actually going to evolve when it comes to recruiting? And then we are here that he's going into high school gyms and not gyms, but I guess gyms, but going to high schools, coaches' offices, meeting with players and potential recruits, going on the recruiting show and actually meeting with people. That's a big thing. Like getting your face out there and showing a different side of your personality is big.
Like we all thought coming into this that, he's going to hire all these staffs. Like I use the analogy, he's going to hire the Oompa Loompas to go out there and pretty much hand deliver the golden tickets to the college football chocolate factory on Friday night. It's now starting to feel like we could see Bill Belichick right down the road at Wake Forest, Roseville, Cardinal Gibbons. With how much he's been out there on the recruiting show, every time he's on the Pat McAfee show, he's either in a plane, it looks like he's riding in the back of a car, on a train. Like, he legit could get out there this football season, this fall, at his age, and still have an actual footprint with high school recruiting.
As he should. As he should. That's all part of the gig. I'm not going to lie. When I coached college lacrosse for 9 years. I will admit my least favorite part was the actual going on the road and recruiting. It's a grind.
It's because you didn't have a private jet.
If I had a private jet and didn't have to drive everywhere, that would have been wonderful. I actually remember Larry Fedora. I used to, with high school OT, I used to do play-by-play and of the high school OT game of the week on Friday nights back several years ago when I first started working here at Capital Broadcasting. And I remember I was at Jordan High School. I think it was Jordan High School. Yeah, Jordan High School. They were playing Green Hope High School. And there was a guy by the name of Jordan Adams.
Go Falcons.
Who was a big-time recruit for UNC under Larry Fedora at the time. And he was a wide receiver and ended up being a first-round pick in Major League Baseball, signed a contract decided to go Major League Baseball route right out of high school. And I think he's with the Angels organization. But anyway, I remember Larry Fedora landed on the field behind the press box, behind the stadium at Jordan High School in a helicopter. Because Jordan Adams was one of his big recruits. And he was committed to play at North Carolina, but again, decided to go play baseball instead. 7 figures in Major League Baseball will do that for somebody. But Larry Fedora landed on a helicopter behind the field. I was like, what is going on here?
Expect that with Bill Belichick this year.
I want it to happen. I want that to happen. I want helicopters landing on fields. I was like, it's kind of wild. All right, anyway, that's number 3. Let's go ahead and get to number 2.
That will do it.
Oh, baby, it is up. It is up.
The Tigers knock off Duke 77-71. That's your final.
All right, so that's from Saturday's win by Clemson University taking down Duke University. So let's actually get to the latest projections of the men's NCAA tournament. The bracketology. According to Joe Lunardi of ESPN, Joe Lunardi does a lot of the number crunching in terms of, all right, strength of schedules and doing all these things. A lot of data that gets put into the computers. And it spits out, this is what we project the NCAA tournament bracket field to be as of today. Again, this is also projecting quality of games that you have coming up, the talent on teams, and so on and so forth. Duke right now projected to be a 1 seed. That makes it sense. Even after the loss against Clemson, projected to be a 1 seed. By the way, this projection is as of this morning. So this is factoring in Clemson and North Carolina from last night. Has Clemson as a 7 seed, has Louisville as a 7 seed. Those 3 ACC schools locked right now in the field of 68. One of the last 4 teams in, number 67 of 68, is Wake Forest, actually. So right now, the ACC projected to have 4 teams in the field of 68. Those 4 schools, again, I mentioned, Duke, Clemson, Louisville, Wake Forest. We'll talk about the ones we didn't say here in just a minute. But right now, Wake Forest is one of the last 4 teams in, is projected to play in one of those first 4 games out in Dayton. Right now, projected to be 11 seed along with BYU. Then they would probably advance, if they were to win, then they would go into the first round and all that. But for people that do not know, there are first and second round games being played in Raleigh at the Lenovo Center. And right now, Duke is projected to be a 1 seed in the East region, playing their first and second round games at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh. Trust me, the NCAA will make sure that Duke is as close to home as possible in the first round. They will do that. You know who their potential second round matchup would be against, Graham?
Who's that?
The winner of number 9 West Virginia and number 8 UConn.
Whoa.
The 2-time reigning champs. That's projected in the first round in Raleigh right now.
And that's pretty much a home matchup for UConn fans, too.
It kind of is.
Sorry, I had to.
You're not wrong. The other teams projected to come to Raleigh, another 1 seed in Tennessee coming to Raleigh, along with potentially playing a school like Bryant, it looks like. But also the 8-9 matchup of that bracket, that region, because actually it's weird. West region played in Raleigh. Gonzaga, Ohio State would be the 8-9 projection as of right now. So as of things are standing at this moment, in Raleigh, we could see Duke, UConn, Gonzaga, Tennessee all here.
Look at Raleigh.
That'd be awesome.
With NC State hosting.
Right.
There's one way for NC State to be a part of the NCAA. Sorry, I had to
point to the banner.
I'm sorry.
Point to the banner. The first 4 teams out, Arkansas, VCU, UNC, SMU in that order. So in the 68, right now Carolina's sitting at number 71, outside looking in. SMU, another ACC school, at 72. The next 4 out, Pitt, Xavier, UC San Diego, Boise State. So the ACC has 3 schools right there on the bubble on the outside looking in between, in order, North Carolina, SMU, Pitt. That's why the victory by UNC over Pitt this past Saturday was so big, because last week's projection had UNC behind Pitt, so they're able to make that jump. Speaking of North Carolina, let's get to number 1.
Cadeau tried to float a alley-oop to Washington, turned it over, and is now yelling at Washington as they go back to play defense.
Again, that 85-65 loss for North Carolina yesterday was a frustrating one for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. But the thing that stood out to me most, Graham, you and I were listening through the post-game press conference from Hubert Davis earlier today. So Hubert Davis' presser from last night. You and I were listening to it earlier today. And Adam Smith of Inside Carolina asked the question about the competitiveness and fight of North Carolina, or lack thereof, in yesterday's game. Here's what Hubert Davis had to say.
Do you feel like that this team has lost its fight in some ways? Is that a fair assessment?
I wouldn't say that.
Pause it. It took you 3 seconds to say, I wouldn't say that. I don't care if you have to lie straight through your teeth. You say, no. I do not question my players at all. Their toughness. Again, if you have to lie through your teeth, you do not make it any sort of doubt. You leave no doubt as a coach. Graham, let that thing continue.
I would not say that. We have to keep getting back up and keep competing. And we got knocked down today, but we got to get back up and we got to move forward and we have to competitively fight.
There's a long delay in there by Hubert Davis.
15 seconds to be exact.
15 seconds. And that's after the 3 seconds to say, no, I don't think so. When asked if their team lost its will to fight, if they lost that fight in them to come back and compete. We saw them earlier this season get into some deep holes in games, but they clawed their way back in a lot of games. So they came up short. Like, for example, the Florida game, the Michigan State game, they got in some deep holes early in games and clawed their way back and came out just short, even against Kansas. But last night, that was not the case. It was not. And that soundbite you just heard from Hubert Davis, it shows that there are no answers in Carolina basketball right now. That is the state of Carolina basketball right now. The fact that you are questioning the fight of your team, the fact that it's even a question at this point in the season for North Carolina basketball, the standard for that program is so much higher than questioning, hey, what about the competitiveness of your team? You should be so far beyond that. So far beyond that as a program. They are staring. Again, we just did the bracket projection, and it's been like this for weeks, of UNC on the outside looking in for the second time in 3 years. The last time they missed the tournament twice in a 3-year stretch, Matt Doherty was the head coach. It was actually in back-to-back years from 2002 to 2003. Those seasons. They missed the NCAA tournament both those years. The last time it happened before that, Matt Doherty at the beginning of this century, was under Dean Smith in the 70s, in 73 and 74, back before the NCAA tournament was even at 64 teams. NCAA tournament didn't get to 64 teams until 1985. A down year for UNC basketball, in my eyes, the UNC basketball that I've seen, like a down year, an average year is the Sweet 16. Like, that should be like, it was kind of a down year this year. Yeah, where'd they finish? They lost on the Sweet 16. There are teams that would kill to be in the Sweet 16. But Carolina has a different standard. It's all up in their rafters. That's their standard. That's where UNC basketball as a program is right now. We had a segment earlier today. It's on our YouTube page. Go 99 The Fan. Go check it out. UNC fans calling for Hubert Davis' job. I won't call for a coach's job. I won't. I mean, unless a coach does like a terrible, horrific thing. But I would never call for a coach's job. But UNC fans are calling for it. They're ticked. They're mad. And you know what? You have every right to be. This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait, folks. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free rent quote now with no hard credit pull. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We need a couple numbers game contestants. We need 2 contestants to play the numbers game. The prize today? Win an Adam and Eve gift basket. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so spice up your love life with a trip to Adam and Eve. Visit any 6 Triangle Adam and Eve locations, where pleasure begins and passion never ends. There's a little something for everyone in the gift basket, folks. 919-860-5FAN. We need 2 contestants to compete in the numbers game. 919-860-5FAN. 919-860-5326. An Adam and Eve gift basket on the line. Numbers game coming up.
The Adam Gold Show.
I felt like Philadelphia would win. And what we call that is, at least I do, blind squirrel theory. The game played out, sort of, as I thought it would.
Not
that
me.
never happened.
Chiefs look like garbage.
Well, I did not anticipate the Chiefs to be blown out.
Embarrassing.
But exactly what I thought would happen, happened. That never happened.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. And you know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. And the best part is, you don't have to traverse the inner city traffic. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get up to $13,000 off with Chevy loyalty on a 2024 Chevrolet Tahoe. Together, let's drive.
Time to get ready for golf season, and Global Golf is ready for you. Global Golf is home to Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs and can help every part of your game, from lessons, club fittings, and repairs. Don't forget, we take trade-ins. Bring in your current clubs and get store credit towards your new clubs. You're invited to Global Golf, open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go.
the company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Thanks. Got my seat cushion, crossword puzzle, and oh, can't forget the hand sanitizer. Okay, show me the waiting room.
No need for all that. You can stay in your car.
I'll stay in my car? Get out.
Yep, you stay in. It'll just be 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Get out.
Go ahead, sit back and relax.
Well, I guess I'll save all this for the DMV. If only they took 10 minutes, am I right? I'm sorry.
Take 5. The stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Time to play the numbers game. On the line, we have an Adam and Eve gift basket. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so spice up your love life with a trip to Adam and Eve. Visit any 6 Triangle Adam and Eve locations where pleasure begins and passion never ends. Competing today, we have Everett and Raleigh, and we have Bear and Clayton. All right, I'm going to ask you guys both this question. Graham is going to choose his answer that he thinks is the best. We love our rivalries here in the state of North Carolina, especially when it comes to college basketball, right? Or just really just college sports in general. Duke, Carolina, Carolina State. We love our rivalries. Everett and Raleigh, I'll ask you this question first. What's your favorite rivalry in sports?
Since I'm a UNC fan, I would have to go with UNC and Duke.
Pretty straightforward answer. Graham, any questions?
No, it seems to speak for itself.
Pretty straightforward. All right, let's go to Bear and Clayton. Bear, what's your favorite rivalry in sports?
I'm originally from Minnesota, so big Vikings fan, and I hate those cheeseheads, the Packers. So Vikings-Packers is a good one.
Okay, Vikings-Packers. All right, Graham, you're the producer today. Give us your answer. What say you? Everett with his UNC Duke rivalry, or Bear with his Minnesota Vikings Green Bay Packers rivalry?
I think I got to go with Everett just because it's somebody who also grew up in the state of North Carolina. Duke, North Carolina, that's the rivalry. That was what it was growing up. And also, no disrespect to our friend Ryland, who works in promotions, who's a Green Bay Packers fan. We can't go against that.
I mean, or you could, if you want to take a shot at our guy Ryland for promotions. But we're going to go Everett and Raleigh. Bear, stay on the line. But Everett and Raleigh, you're going to go first. Here are the categories that we have for the numbers game. We have NFL, all initial team, so their first name has some form of initials in it. We have NFL second round guys. These are guys who were all drafted in the second round of the NFL draft. We also have NBA all-time rebounders. So these are players that you will see near the top or at the top of the NBA's all-time rebounding list, or NHL Hurricanes only.
NFL second round.
All right, NFL second round picks. So the way this is work, you got 30 seconds on the clock. I'm going to give you the name of the player and the team they play for. You need to give me the jersey number. 30 seconds on the clock. You do get one pass. Try to get all 5 in under 30 seconds if you can, but we'll see how many you can get. Do you have any questions, Everett?
I do not.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. T. Higgins, Cincinnati Bengals.
18.
Incorrect. Tutu Atwell, LA Rams.
Pass.
Trey McBride, Arizona Cardinals.
85.
Correct. T. Higgins, Cincinnati Bengals.
81.
Incorrect. Tutu Atwell, LA Rams.
12.
Incorrect. T. Higgins, Cincinnati Bengals.
85.
Correct. Jaden Reed, Green Bay Packers.
75.
Incorrect. Tutu Atwell. You got 2. You got Trey McBride, the tight end for the Arizona Cardinals, drafted in 2022. He wears number 85. T. Higgins, Cincinnati Bengals, 2020 second-round draft pick, has worn both 85 and 5 for the Cincinnati Bengals. You did eventually get 85. Tutu Atwell for the LA Rams has worn a couple numbers. He's worn 15 and 5. And also you have Jaden Reed, the Green Bay Packers, a second-round draft pick in 2023. He wears number 11. So you got 2, pretty solid. Gives yourself, obviously, the lead in the clubhouse as we turn things over to Bear and Clayton. Bear, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, Bear and Clayton, we have 3 categories remaining for which you could choose from. We have NFL all-initial team, so players that have initials in their names, NBA all-time rebounders, or NHL Hurricanes only.
NFL all-initial team.
All right, same thing, same rules apply. 30 seconds on the clock. Try to get all 5 you can in under 30 seconds. You only need to beat 2. You have to get more than 2 because the tie goes to whomever goes first. So you have to at least beat a score of 2. But again, still try to get all 5 in 30 seconds or less. You do have 1 pass. Bear, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Time starts when you hear the horn. A.J. Brown, Philadelphia Eagles.
11.
Correct. C.J. Stroud, Houston Texans.
7.
Correct. D.K. Metcalf, Seattle Seahawks.
11.
Incorrect. T.Y. Hilton, Indianapolis Colts.
18.
Incorrect. D.K. Metcalf, Seattle Seahawks.
Pass.
J.J. Jansen, Carolina Panthers.
17.
Incorrect. D.K. Metcalf, Seattle Seahawks. So close. So close. DK Metcalf, you were right in there in the 10s. He wears number 14. T.Y. Hilton, I think you said 11. T.Y. Hilton, you said 18. He wears 13. Does T.Y. Hilton. And J.J. Jansen for the Panthers, the long snapper, wears number 44. You got 2. Unfortunately, you did not beat Everett in Raleigh. Everett and Raleigh, congratulations. You are the winner, sir.
Hey, I tell you what, give the prize to Bear. I don't know if I'm going to use that, so if he wants to use it, then give it to him.
Well, that's very kind of you. Very kind of you, Everett. If Everett wants to defer his championship over to Bear, then by all means, we're going to give it to Bear. Bear, congratulations, Bear. You're our winner because Everett's a great man.
Thanks, Everett.
Shout-outs to Everett from Raleigh. All right, Bear, stay on the line. You'll be our winner for this one.
I appreciate it.
I think this might be a first. Stay on the line. Graham's going to need to get some information from you. But, Graham, I think this might be a first.
This is a first. I was going to say, I feel bad because this is going to be 2 days in a row where we got our winner based on who I selected first.
Well, that's not, that's no fault of your own.
But, hey, what a guy. Shout out to Everett.
Shout out to Everett. What a guy.
Everett's still going to have a fun Valentine's Day just for being nice.
I mean, I hope. So, now Bear, by the gift of Everett. Sorry. Everett gave the gift of the Adam and Eve gift basket. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so spice up your love life with a trip to Adam and Eve. Visit any 6 Adam and Eve locations where pleasure begins and passion never ends. So shout-outs to Everett. Shout-outs to Bear. Bear's our winner. Bear and Clayton. Congratulations. I don't think we've ever had that happen before. Not once. Hey, you know what? Give it to the other guy. He'll enjoy it more than me. In this situation, you might be right. It's the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, it's back. It's back. Your chance to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Your opportunity is back because the Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint are teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Pretty simple to win, folks. Just go to caniacsbike.com. That's where you enter for your chance to win. Simple to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. You'll see pictures of the bike right there on the site. It's a custom-built motorcycle. Custom painted with logos and colors of the Carolina Hurricanes, white wall tires. It's a gorgeous bike. Just have to go to caniacsbike.com to enter for your chance to win. The deadline to enter, April 6th. So you probably think, I got a little bit of time, but don't wait. You might forget about it. Go to caniacsbike.com. The bike will be given away live on the ice at the final home game of the year. But don't wait to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We've had a lot of questions about North Carolina basketball. And we've kind of like what their standard is. But a team right now that is struggling even further has to raise their own standards. I'll tell you who that team is in 4 minutes.
Soundstation and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Soundstation and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Soundstation and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Soundstation and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
This Valentine's Day, if you really want to impress me, how about a romantic meal at home from the Butcher's Market? So we each get a juicy filet mignon, lobster tails, twice-baked potatoes, and 4 long-stem chocolate-covered strawberries. Pretty romantic.
Right. And the folks over at the Butcher's Market have made it so easy for guys like us. I just order online, and it'll be ready for pickup when I walk in the door.
So what are you waiting for? Visit thebutchersmarket.com now. Trust me, you'll be glad you did.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
Breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello, Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan. Tonight we are at Green Level High School, and we're here to celebrate the newest Scholar Athlete of the Month, Lexi Taylor.
My family is definitely like my biggest support through everything. My sister and my parents both support me through my hardest days and my best days, and they're always there to support me.
Lexi's a phenomenal athlete, comfortable with whatever you ask her to do. She's strong, she's poised, she doesn't get flustered easily.
And she's just like grown up so much as like a captain and a teammate, and she's been a captain now for 2 years, and I really just think she's been like such a great help to our team.
Well, I've been cheering with her since 7th grade and we're seniors now, so I've kind of like watched Lexi like grow up, I feel like, and she's like done the same with me. So I've like seen her like step into a leadership role, and I feel like she's just always super encouraging and keeps a positive attitude.
It means a lot to me to just be able to be recognized in such like a wide area with so many amazing athletes. So I just feel great to like feel like someone's like seeing all the hard work that I've been putting into my sport and my academics. So I'm very grateful for it.
Congratulations, Lexi.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Kicks it left side. Parker for the win. Halfway down, popped out. Popcorn down, an evil bounce. Would have been a walk-off buzzer beater.
The sounds of Matt Chazanow, Wolfpack Sports Network, after the most recent loss on the road at Stanford. this past weekend on Saturday. NC State's going to be back in action tomorrow. They actually host Louisville at the Lenovo Center. I know we've had a lot of conversation earlier today about North Carolina basketball, and that all that stuff's on our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan, so make sure you subscribe there. About how North Carolina, UNC basketball falling short of expectations. To me, in my opinion, a quote-unquote down year, or I guess say maybe an average year for UNC basketball based on the standard that program has set for themselves for decades. Sweet 16 is an average year, generally, especially with the amount of Final Fours and Elite Eights that they've made. I know they've lost in the first and second round of the NCAA tournament, and to North Carolina standards, that's a disappointment. It really is. And I was thinking about standards for Duke. The standard for Duke is basically identical to what to UNC standards when it comes to basketball, right? You got all the banners and the Final Fours and all that stuff. I mean, the standard is the same, relatively, right? Obviously, there's an expectation to be competing for a national championship every year. That's an expectation, and that's okay. That's fine. And I was thinking about NC State in the same vein as, well, what's a realistic expectation for that basketball program? Now, I know under the years with Mark Gottfried, there was the NCAA investigation with former guard Dennis Smith Jr. about alleged payments to potentially go to NC State, and that cloud was kind of hung over the program at NC State for a few years about, especially early in Kevin Keatts' tenure, about, well, are they going to get NCAA sanctions? Are they potentially going to be those sanctions including, hey, you're not going to be allowed to go to the postseason for a year or 2 years, whatever it might be. You're not allowed to compete for a championship. Those questions were lingering over the head of the program for a couple of years and early in Kevin Keatts' tenure. So I understand where recruiting and stuff can make things a little bit more difficult. Even though, if I remember correctly, in the first year of Kevin Keatts, they still made the NCAA tournament.
Yes, they did.
So even with that hanging over their heads, that was still out there. Or they still accomplished that, even though that stuff was still out there. So coming off of last year's run to the Final Four down in Phoenix by NC State, winning 5 games in 5 days in Washington, D.C. at the ACC tournament, just to make it to the NCAA tournament because they had to win the conference tournament in order to make the NCAA tournament, and then the run continuing. They turned into the darlings, right? They were everyone's kind of darlings of the tournament. And NC State is a program in a school that everyone knows. You've heard of, like, NC State. Yeah, I've heard of that. I know what that is. Yeah, NC State, ACC school, college basketball, all that. People know who NC State is. But I was thinking, okay, coming off of NC State, 2 straight trips to the NCAA tournament. They got knocked out in the round of 64 a couple years ago. If I remember correctly, they were an 11 seed. And again, last year's run, getting all the way to the Final Four. My question for NC State was, well, what should be the standard and expectation for NC State basketball year in and year out? To me, I think NC State basketball, for example, we talked about bracketology, NCAA tournament, who's going to make the NCAA tournament, the projections for the field of 68. To me, I think NC State should be, in a year out basis, consistently, when we look at the projections at this time of year, early to mid-February, hey, there's NC State as like a 7 seed in the West projection right now. They're going to go to Milwaukee to play in the first round. Like, that's their projection. That, to me, should be a standard for NC State basketball, especially coming off of a Final Four run. There's more money, more attention into your program. We were actually out at the Lenovo Center for Kane's playoff game last year. Myself and Tim Donnely, Graham, you were back in here producing the show. And we were sitting outside. Kevin Keatts was sounding the siren that night. This was after the Final Four run. He walked by our set. We said, hey, Coach, come on over here. He sat down there with us for about 7-8 minutes. And he was very candid. We asked him, hey, how's recruiting and all this been since this is taken place since this Final Four run? Like, how have things changed? And he said, it's amazing how more people are answering the phone or calling you back now that you made this run, now that you've had this little bit more exposure on a high-profile stage. But there's still the question of dollars and cents. Okay, how much does NIL, how much of these things can you pay? Now, I'm not entirely sure how much NC State is doling out in terms of that money, but again, with the attention that the program has gotten, with the notoriety of being NC State in the ACC, there is some history there. There's no reason that NC State basketball on a year in and year out basis shouldn't be an NCAA tournament team. That's just a fact. And I think NC State fans probably feel the same way. They probably should. There's no reason why NC State basketball shouldn't be in the NCAA tournament every single year. I'm not saying they got to be a 1 seed, 2 seed, or 3 seed, but a couple years ago when it was Terquavian Smith and that crew, they got in as an 11 seed. And I even thought, hey, you know what? As 11 seed, that's a team I don't want to face in the NCAA tournament. But they're in. Maybe some years it's an 11 seed. Maybe some years it's a 5. Maybe it's a strong enough year where you even push up to a 4 seed possibly. But yeah, 4, 5, 6 seed, that's a good basketball team. Getting an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, you're a good basketball team. Getting to the NCAA tournament, to me, should be the minimum for the NC State basketball program. Again, last year, they had to make a run in the ACC tournament. They had to win 5 games in 5 days. We've all heard about it. We've said it enough. But they had to do that just to make the NCAA tournament for back-to-back years. The last time they made the NCAA tournament, actually, they made it in 2022, 2023. But the previous time before that was the 2017-2018 season, Kevin Keats' first year at NC State. Again, I'll give some grace in that first couple of years because there was the cloud hanging over the team regarding the possible sanctions from the NCAA regarding the Dennis Smith Jr. receiving improper benefits and all that kind of stuff. Eventually, that just kind of went away into nothing. And obviously, there was also the COVID year, 2019, 2020. They were a bubble team at best. They were in 20-12. They were 10-10 in the ACC that year. They were 6 in the conference. I don't know if they would have made the NCAA tournament or not. Who knows? We don't know because it is what it is. But the fact that there are questions and there are doubts over the last few years, that's not good enough if you're NC State basketball. Their standard there needs to be, we need to be an NCAA tournament year in and year out. Plain and simple. If you disagree, tell me. If you disagree, tell me. At the Fan Rookie. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. To me, Graham, you've grown up in Eastern North Carolina, Kinston native. You've seen a lot of NC State sports growing up. Am I wrong for saying that should be a standard for NC State basketball? Like, that should be an expectation for their program?
It should be. And just unfortunately for me, somebody growing up, as you mentioned, there's not too many NCAA tournament memories that I have. Before last season, then again, you mentioned the Terquavion Smith freshman year when they got in as an 11 seed. The only one I remember before that was the Sweet 16 run where they beat LSU, BJ Anya, that team. That's really the only NC State postseason basketball teams that that come to mind for me.
Yeah, I think I remember correctly. It was like in 2012. I remember they made a run to the Sweet 16. I think same thing in 2015. I think in 05. Like Sweet 16 runs, and that's a good thing. But if you actually look at what this team was doing, like for example, the 90s, they made it in 1991. They didn't make anything up and get into 2002. But they made the tournament in 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006. They also went in 12, 13, 14, 15, and 18. This program is capable of making those runs to get into the NCAA tournament. To me, that should be a standard for that basketball program, is making the NCAA tournament every single year. And it's been proven, once you get into the tournament, anything can happen. We just saw it last year. They made a run to the Final Four. The standard has to be higher than what it's been in NC State basketball. Just like UNC basketball falling short of expectations, and that's how we're actually going to start Overdrive. UNC basketball gets blown out by Clemson. Things aren't looking good for the Tar Heels. We'll have that conversation coming up for you in 4 minutes.
Hey, it's Tim Donnelly. And don't panic, fellas. I know